You're listening to The Hour of the Time, and I'm Pooh.
You're listening to The Hour of Time. That's Evan.
And I'm William Cooper.
And I'm Doyel Shamley.
Go, Pooh.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Feels like old times, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
Pretty good.
You've been waiting for this for quite a while?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with the Hour of the Time worldwide on WBCQ, The Planet. And that's another story. Allison is 3 years old now, so you're going to begin to hear a lot from her on radio, just as you did when Pooh turned 3 and began to say the Pledge of Allegiance. Allison is sort of taking a different route. She's a little bit shy sometimes, but she likes to be a part of everything. Would you like to say hi? Say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, say bye.
Bye.
Say bye, Pooh.
Bye.
And we'll see you guys later. Okay, folks, we're standing here in front of our BX44 RCA ribbon antique 1920s microphone that was donated by Ron Howell, and we've got one heck of a broadcast for you tonight. So don't go away. We'll be right back after this short pause. Oh, yes, folks, Love is on the air tonight. In fact, it's not just on the air here tonight. It's on the air all around the world.
From really a misapprehension of the circumstances. I certainly never encouraged her not to comply lawfully with the subpoena.
Mr. President, if your intent was, as you have earlier testified, you didn't want anyone to know about this relationship you had with Ms. Lewinsky, why would you feel comfortable giving her gifts in the middle of discovery in the college industry?
Why? Why indeed? Why not? I mean, Alan Wiener has just given us a whole week's worth of dissertation on why he likes to give his girlfriend gifts. And I'm sure he does a lot of other things that he doesn't want anybody to know about. So why all this hoopla about the president and his personal sex life? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been analyzing this for an awful long time. And I'm going to tell you what I sincerely believe this is really all about. It's another thrust at the destruction of the United States of America. It is a direct attack upon the office of the presidency. It is making our judicial system look like a laughing stock, a la O.J. Simpson. It's making the president look like one of the lowest worms that ever crawled across the earth. But if you took just about anybody in the country and you held the same kind of magnifying glass to their life, I wonder what we would find. I know what we would find, ladies and gentlemen. This is jerk-around time. This is absolute nonsense. Now, if there's an investigation truly going on, and I know there is, and if there have been crimes committed in the Whitewater scandal, and we all know there was, because most of the participants in the Whitewater, what was that, real estate deal? The Whitewater real estate deal are either under indictment or in prison. So we know there were crimes committed there. We also know that there was some pretty shady dealings going on with raising money for the Democratic Party. We know, ladies and gentlemen, that narcotics have been used in the White House. We also know, ladies, and for those of you who think that there's nothing wrong with using narcotics, I beg to differ when you've got your finger just a few feet away from a button that could launch a nuclear war. That's what dope does to you. And while I don't care what anybody does in the privacy of their own home, you see, I believe in freedom. As long as you're not hurting the person or property of any other person, I truly, and I mean this with all my heart, I truly don't give a damn what you do. Because that's what freedom is all about. And if you want freedom, you have to give freedom to everyone else. But folks, when you have a responsible position in the White House, I don't care what your job is, you have an effect upon the possibility of causing a war. Not to mention a myriad of other things that you could have an effect upon, that you could absolutely cause to become chaotic. So, don't give me this jazz about, about the, pot doesn't hurt you and all that kind of crap. It might not hurt you in your bedroom at home. But, folks, not in the White House, not in the Pentagon, not in the command center of some warship somewhere. No, sir. No, ma'am. Can't have that kind of behavior. And how about the absolute compromise of classified material with the communist Chinese in regards to intercontinental ballistic missiles, satellite technology, and a whole lot of other things? And what is this about a political party accepting huge donations from the enemies of the United States of America in order to get a president elected? You see, you don't give money to elect an official unless you're reasonably certain that that official is going to do things for you, is going to be on your side. And in this case, in the case of communist China, if Clinton's on their side, he's not on mine. Not by a long shot. So what is all this Monica Lewinsky cigar humidor stuff that I've been watching all day long? And who cares? You see, if all of these other crimes have occurred, and we know that they have, why are they just concentrating on this one little sexual episode where the president may or may not have committed perjury, may have lied under oath about whether or not he had sex with another adult, consenting adult? What's that all about? And I've been hearing everybody say that, everybody knew that Kennedy was doing it. How come they didn't go after Kennedy? Well, you see, that's not true. I lived during that time. I was alive then. I was a young man. I was in the Air Force, as a matter of fact, when Kennedy was assassinated. And nobody knew that Kennedy was fooling around with anybody. It was never reported in any of the press. You see, you read exposés and reports and books and things about the life of John F. Kennedy and his brother Bobby and the whole Kennedy family in those intervening years since his assassination, and you think that all of us who were alive during his presidency knew what was going on. Well, it's not true. In fact, it's just a blatant lie. Nobody knew. The press didn't report those things. Nobody went after those things. The private life of people was understood to be their private life, as it should be. You see, if you really understand the truth about the foibles of human nature, these are things that you don't want to get into. Because if you get into it with one person, then the privacy of all people has been lost. Make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, this is a direct attack upon the office of the presidency of the United States of America. It's not about anything else.
More inappropriate contact that she sent me more things in the mail. And that there was sort of a disconnect sometimes between what she was saying and the plain facts of our relationship. And I don't know what caused that, but it may have been dissatisfaction with the rest of her life. I don't know. She had, from the time I first met her, talked to me about the rest of her personal life, and it may be that there was some reason for that. It may be that when I did the right thing and made it stick, that in a way she felt a need to cling more closely or try to get closer to me, even though she knew nothing improper was happening or was going to happen. I don't know the answer to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, just because a man becomes president, is he forbidden from having relations, consenting with another adult? I don't believe so. And if he's messing around on his wife, while I believe that that is absolutely wrong, it is a betrayal of your spouse, your wedded partner, so to speak. Not so to speak, your wedded partner, period. It's a betrayal. It says tons of bad things about a person's morals, about their loyalty, about their ability to be trusted, and all kinds of other things, but it is their private life and their private business. I don't like William Jefferson Clinton. I have never liked William Jefferson Clinton because I know that he is a sleazy, lying, slick politician who plays with words and doesn't give a damn about anybody but himself. That has become obvious to me over the years. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is not, what this is all about. This man has plenty to investigate and probably plenty to try him on and indict him on and impeach him on. And and by the way, we have all 4 hours of the tape, ladies and gentlemen. All of it, every minute, all 4 hours, nothing but the 4 hours, every minute of the 4 hours, every dirty little nasty detail. And by the way, on this tape, folks, there really isn't anything mind-boggling. There is nothing explosive. I've watched every moment of it today. And the president did not get angry and fly off the handle. He did not storm or stomp out of the room. He was polite. Everybody who was there was polite. The prosecutors were polite. The lawyers were polite. Everybody was doing a job. And they were trying to get him to incriminate himself. And, of course, he refused to do it. He did not say anything, ladies and gentlemen, that I could construe in any way whatsoever that could get him impeached. Now, I haven't seen all the other evidence. In this 450 pages that they released, I've looked at that, and there are some things in there that are very questionable. And he may have lied under oath. If he did, that is a felony. It's a crime. And, of course, using this sexual escapade to get him to lie under oath would be very easy to do to anyone. I believe what Clinton did wrong, ladies and gentlemen, was say, I didn't have sex with Miss Lewinsky. I didn't do this. I didn't say that. I wasn't there then. She didn't do this. She didn't give me that. I didn't blah, 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 blah. Instead of, that's my personal private life between two consenting adults. It's none of your damn business, period. That's what he should have said. And he would have been right. And if he had said that, nobody could have faulted him whatsoever. But you see, they set out to get him to lie, knowing that he would not want to know his family to know the truth about what happened with Monica Lewinsky. And he fell for it. He fell right into the trap because, to put it quite bluntly, this is an arrogant, egotistical man. He really thought that he was going to get away with it. He didn't even have the sense to see the trap being set for him by his enemies. Now, I don't like the man. I'd like to see him out of that office, but for a lot of other different reasons, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm an honest man. I would never have gone about trying to set a trap for him in the manner that these scumbags have done. To me, anybody who does that is just as bad as him. And I listened all day during this 4 hours of tape, hearing these independent prosecutors trying to get him in any way they could to say something that would incriminate him. And, he's a lawyer. He knows better than that. He knows what the game is now, and he knows the game is afoot, and he knows that he's just about history, and so he's not letting it happen. Everything okay? We have two little girls here that are in and out of the studio, and that's the way it's always going to be, folks. So anyway, that's the skinny on this. If you want a copy of the tape, we have all 4 hours of it. If you weren't able to get a copy, send us $30 and we'll send it to you post-paid. There's not anything missing. We have all of it, every single word. It is history. It is extremely interesting. And on several occasions, you can see some looks on William Jefferson Clinton's face that, if you've ever caught a little child with his hand in the cookie jar, well, you know what kind of look I'm talking about. And, I believe in the American way. No one is guilty until they're proven guilty and judged guilty by a jury of their peers. I don't think Clinton's going to escape this because I don't think that this is all they have on him, ladies and gentlemen. I think they have a lot more. I don't think Starr has even begun to come forward with what he has uncovered in all these years of investigation. And if you think that this is all that Starr has culled out of all of this, then you're not playing with a full deck of cards. Something else is going to come out. Quite a bit more, as a matter of fact. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is the terrible, nitty-gritty, under the bed at midnight, stinky stuff that you find dripping from trash cans in the alley. It's the kind of stuff that you don't want to start prying open anywhere in this country because you're dealing with human nature, the foibles of human nature, the ability of people to get trapped by temptation through their own human weaknesses. And if there's anybody out there listening who does not understand that sex is the most powerful instinct right up there with survival in every single living thing upon this earth. And many people cannot resist that urge. In fact, I go one better. I'll say most people could not resist that urge. You get a good-looking young president in the White House surrounded by eager young women, and you've got a recipe for a disaster. And I think that's exactly what we've seen. If you want to get Clinton, get him on something that can have some respect behind it. If you want to get Clinton, get him for something real. You see, I firmly believe that every president who's ever sat in the Oval Office, or even before the Oval Office, in whatever was the place where the president lived, and for those of you who think George Washington was the first president in the United States, you're not playing with the full deck either. He wasn't. I think you could probably get every one of them on something like this at some point during their life, and specifically during the presidency, when that office carries so much romance and power and attraction with it. So enough of that. We believe in freedom. You know, I've been listening. We've been checking out WBCQ. Come on up here, Doyle.
All right.
Get up here close.
Mm-hmm.
We've been checking out, this is Doyel Shamlin, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be my partner here on this broadcast for the next, I don't know, how many hundreds of years. We've been listening to WBCQ just about every night.
Yeah, every night.
And because we wanted to know what the signal strength was, and we wanted to know what the thrust of the management was going to be as far as policy and politics and all of that kind of thing. You see, I remember Radio New York International. I remember Alan Weiner, and I remember the days on the Becker Satellite Network. I really liked Scott Becker an awful lot. We were just unable to do business together. If he lived next door to me today, we would still be great friends. I really like Johnny Lightning. I really like Alan Weiner. You see, on May the 4th, 1992, when I first began broadcasting, the hour of the time, they helped me out a lot. And I've got to tell you, if it hadn't been for Alan Weiner and Johnny Lightning, there would never have been an hour of the time. And I'm not going to forget Scott Becker either. Scott Becker was the one who gave me airtime on a satellite and allowed me to make a fool of myself on satellite before anybody heard me on shortwave radio or anywhere else, and sort of learn a little bit about what I was doing before I went on international shortwave and fell on my face. And what have we been hearing, Doyle?
Clinton.
And
Clinton is sex life. I don't want to talk about it. It comes up anyway.
I was amazed to hear several dissertations upon how disturbed Alan and Johnny Lightning, everybody else were about this Clinton thing. And that one of them, I forget which one, did an experiment where they went through the shortwave bands and the radio talk shows, and every time that they tuned in, and they were very careful to say the right-wing talk show hosts, out of every 5 minutes, you know, they would tune in for 5 minutes and they would hear Clinton, and they would turn it off, and then they would go back for 5 minutes and they would hear Clinton. Well, Alan and Johnny, I got to tell you something. You know, we did the same thing with WBCQ, and we would turn it on for 5 minutes, and what did we hear?
Clinton.
And we turn it off, and then we turn it back on for 5 minutes, and what do we hear?
More Clinton.
More Clinton. So I guess you guys are really right-wing radio talk show hosts. I mean, that's what I got from the whole thing, is that only right-wing radio talk show hosts do that.
Yeah.
Now, on another episode, we're going to explain to you what right-wing really means, guys, so I want you to pay attention. And we heard an awful lot of speculation about what the hour of the time is going to be about, and what we believe in, and what me, William Cooper, in particular, believes in. And I think that there's a lot of misconceptions out there. We believe in freedom. I believe, in the great liberalism of the founding fathers, who were some of the greatest liberals that ever lived. I am a liberal. I am not a conservative. Never have been. Never will be. Freedom today is still a liberal concept, and most of the people who call themselves liberals haven't got the slightest idea what freedom is all about. They want more big government to run our lives. They don't want freedom. You listen to them talk about freedom of speech and freedom of this and constitutional rights and constitutional that and rights here and rights there, and the Republicans are trying to take our freedom away and blah, 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 blah. I'm not a Republican either. Neither am I a Democrat. I am an American. You see, there's a big difference between all this. You guys get all caught up in divisions. Not me. I believe in America. I believe in freedom. I believe that every man and woman on the face of this earth should be able to do whatever they damn well wish to do, whenever they damn well wish to do it, as long as they do not damage, hurt, or injure the person or property of any other human being on this earth. That's my philosophy in a nutshell. That was the philosophy of the Founding Fathers who created this nation. We're going to get into an awful lot of those things. Tonight, however, we're going to concentrate on one specific subject for a while. And that subject is going to be one that that I couldn't believe I heard the old radio pirate just absolutely refuse to get into during the whole last week and a half of the debut of WBCQ. Alan Weiner was discouraging people from getting into radio. I cannot believe it. Alan, I love you, brother, but that's a big mistake. I guess to get your license, they got something holding over you. Maybe you're afraid you'll lose it. I don't know. But you see, it is not illegal to broadcast without a license, never has been, and we're going to talk about that tonight, because I want every one of you out there to get a transmitter and start broadcasting. Oh boy, I can see people running to stick their head in the sand now. Oh, you can't do that! You don't have a license! Oh no, we're going to get arrested! Now if you do it right. You see, folks, and we're going to start this week getting into the Constitution, because that's the supreme law of the land. We have a federal government that is running amok. They are terrorists. They are criminals. It is a dragon that once was caged by the Founding Fathers, and somehow this dragon has gotten out of the cage, and it is running rampant, breathing fire everywhere, taking jurisdiction and authority that it does not and never has had. Unless, of course, there is no Constitution anymore. And if there is no Constitution, all this talk about free speech and constitutional rights and liberalism and conservatism and Americanism and everything else is just so much bullshit. That's the truth about that animal. You see, either the Constitution for the United States of America is the supreme law of the land, or it's not. If it's the supreme law of the land, we have a tiger, a dragon, if you will, with a whole bunch of heads that's out of its cage and needs to be put back. We have a federal government committing crimes against the citizens of the several states every single day. And I keep hearing people talk about their constitutional rights and about the Constitution and about this and about how the government owes them this or the government needs to do that. The government doesn't owe anybody anything. The government doesn't need to do anything except get back in its cage. Understand that. I can tell from listening to these people they have never read the Constitution for the United States in their whole life, and if they have, by some miracle, and I mean miracle, I mean if they really have, which I seriously doubt, they didn't understand the word they read. You see, the Constitution doesn't give anybody any rights. The Founding Fathers recognized Creator-endowed rights. They created a contract called the Articles of Confederation, which established a nation called the United States of America. And the first president of the United States of America was not George Washington. Oh, hate to pop your bubble, folks. Neither was the Articles of Confederation ever abolished or changed. It was created in perpetuity. You know what that means? It means forever. I suggest you get a copy and read it. When the Founding Fathers went to Philadelphia to have their constitutional convention, they were sent by the several colonies to amend or add to the Articles of Confederation so that they could have some control over commerce. That's the truth. They went in there and created a constitution which only one man signed. You all talk about the signers of the Constitution. Only one man signed. The rest attested to the signature. You see, Something's happened in this country. You've all lost your senses. You certainly can't read, and you certainly have absolutely vacated any sense of responsibility, and you can't understand what it is that you read. The English language is very simple. Now, definitions of words change over the years. So if you want to know what the Articles of Confederation and the Constitution for the United States of America really said, you have to get the closest dictionary to that time, which still had the same meaning as the founding fathers meant when they wrote those words, which is the 1828 edition of Webster's Dictionary. 1828 edition of Webster's Dictionary. You can purchase it online on the internet. I'm not going to give you the address. I'm going to make you search for it. One of the purposes of the Hour of the Time is to get you, ladies and gentlemen, to learn to do research, to stop listening to other people and believing what they tell you. You see, I don't want you to believe what I tell you. I don't want you to follow me. I'm not a cult leader. I don't even know what cult means, to tell you the truth. I'm a freedom fighter. I'm an American. I believe in freedom. I believe that most of it has been taken away from us, and most of us are too stupid to even know that it has occurred. And that if we're not careful, pretty soon somebody's going to tell us in a way that none of us are going to like. Right, Doyel?
Yep, stomping boots.
Doyel's new to radio, and I got to get him to boost up the volume when he talks, but we'll get there. So tonight we're going to talk about how you can become a legal and lawful broadcaster. You see, the Constitution gave the federal government certain very limited powers. Those are the only powers that they may have under any circumstances whatsoever. All of the rest of the powers not granted to the federal government nor prohibited by the Constitution belong to the states. And if the states have not taken a hold of that power and exercised it or regulated it, then to the people. To the people. To the people. And if you read your Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all the articles in amendment thereto, you will discover this fact if you have even the slightest remnant of a brain still left in your head after the years of watching television and listening to the inanity and stupidity and outright lies that you hear broadcast across the airwaves in this country from people like Rush Limbaugh. Doyel, let me ask you something. How many people have you known that are proud to call themselves ditto heads?
A few back home.
What
I don't know why.
What does ditto head? What does ditto head mean?
It means you think like the guy before you.
It means, folks, that you have no ability whatsoever to think for yourself. Can you believe that there are actually people in this world proud to call themselves ditto heads? Can you imagine someone actually saying, I'm a ditto head, and I'm proud of it. Oh, yes, I'm going off to the rush room now. Doesn't rush room sound an awful lot like the other room?
Mm-hmm.
Rest room? Sounds just like it to me, folks, I got to tell you. So, in fact, it's this is absolutely incredible. It is so incredible that I can let you know what I think about it right now. And so there you have it, moving west. You got the wagons ready?
Yeah.
Got the beans packed?
Yes, of course.
Okay. One of my favorite movies, Blazing Saddles, has just come to life on the silver speaker covering. Yes, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's the story. the federal government has only a few powers granted to it. The only power granted to it under which the Federal Communications Commission is empowered to act is the power to regulate interstate and international commerce in radio broadcasting. If you read the law, the only real authority that the Federal Communications Commission has ever had is the authority or power to license interstate or international commercial broadcast stations, broadcasting at 100 watts or above. And that rule they made themselves, the last one, the 100-watt thing. You know why they did that, ladies and gentlemen? To protect commercial and corporate broadcasters who have lots and lots of money, so that they can control the ideas and the things that are said over the airwaves to the American sheeple. If you want to broadcast and you can have a transmitter somewhere that is able to broadcast only within the territorial boundaries of a state, that's a union state, then the Federal Communications has no authority whatsoever to either license or regulate that particular station. It is up to the state. It falls to the state. If the state has no regulatory agency, if the state has passed no laws regulating broadcasting intrastate, which means within the territorial boundaries of a state, not going across those boundaries, not engaging in commercial broadcasting, okay? Has to be both, can't be one or the other. You see, if you're broadcasting intrastate commercially, and you're not crossing state lines or international boundaries, and you cannot be heard by a ship 12 miles out at sea, then you are not under the auspices of the Federal Communications Commission. Now, they can blow all the smoke and flash all the mirrors they want to. That is the law. That is the Constitution. That is the truth. In fact, if you go to the FCC website on the Internet, you will see the very first sentence on that web page, on their home page, says that the FCC is established to regulate interstate and international commercial broadcasting stations. Don't believe me? Go there right now if you've got a computer. Right, Doyel?
Yeah.
I see you're looking there. What are you looking for? Did you find it?
I was just looking under Article 1, Section 8.
By the way, Article 1, Section 8 is where most of the powers granted to the federal government are contained. Not all. There are a few more. But there are very few altogether, ladies and gentlemen, and they are specific in what they say. For instance, most of you believe that Congress, every time they pass a law, it applies to everybody in every state in this country. That's a lie. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I looked it up. And in the United States Code, I'm not going to tell you where tonight because we're going to do a special broadcast on this stuff. I'm going to show you exactly where to look it up. In the United States Code, it says acts of Congress do not apply to citizens in the states. They apply to citizens of Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, territories, insular possessions, dockyards, forts, and land which the United States government has purchased, which has been ceded, and which jurisdiction has been legislatively granted to the United States government by the state wherein that land resides. Wow. You guys didn't know all this, did you? It also says in the United States Attorney's Handbook, acts of Congress do not apply to the citizens of the states. citizens with a capital C. We're going to be talking about all of this stuff. You see, because you've got a lot to learn, folks. You think you know about freedom. You think you understand the Constitution. You think you know what your rights are. You think there are constitutional rights? No. Rights are granted by God. All men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Not inalienable, unalienable. If rights are granted by constitutions, they are granted by men who can take those rights away anytime they so desire. The Founding Fathers knew that. They built checks and balances into this government, hoping that we, as the watchdogs, would not allow any one branch or segment or person become despotic or tyrannical and take and take and take and take, which is the function of all governments, if they are allowed to do so, until once again the human race is enslaved as it has been throughout the history of the world. Oh, but what about the Roman Republic? They were free citizens. Baloney. Did you ever read Caligula? Did you ever read Julius Caesar? Free? Oh, but what about ancient Greece? Well, did you ever really read about the ancient Grecian society? Oh, well, how about England? England is free. Oh, really? I've been to England. They're not free. There is no such thing as freedom of speech in England. In fact, England is a socialist country now with a parliamentary form of government, and the English people are taxed almost out of existence. They even have taxes that are over 100%. And all the English divers I knew, when I was a deep sea diver, all the English divers I knew left England to work in other countries because they were being taxed 80% of everything that they made. And that's where many of you are trying to take us. Well, I don't want to go there. I'm not getting on that train, and I'm going to fight it until I'm not around anymore. You got to kill me to shut me up. You got to kill me to get rid of me, and you got to kill me to take my freedom away because I'm not going to give it to you willingly. Period.
I agree.
Those are man a few words. Well, we're getting close to the end of this tape here, Doyle.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Oh, that's a 90-minute tape. That's why.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for it to run out of 30 minutes. It's a 90-minute tape. That's why it's still going. Okay, good. Well, you know what we can do? It's 46 minutes. We can turn this tape over right now. What do you think? Why don't we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, stand by, folks. We're going to turn this tape over right now and let it go again. Okay. Wow. We're 46 minutes into a 3-hour broadcast. I'm tired already. Are you tired?
Yeah.
It's
been a long day.
I think I better take a drink of water. We've been getting ready for this for a long time, folks. Oh, boy. When you talk a long time, you've got to have something to drink. So, today we're going to talk about this. How can you do this and stay within the territorial boundaries of the state? And better yet, how can you do it in a way that can make the FCC happy? Well, it just so happens we know how to do that, ladies and gentlemen. It's called micro-broadcasting. Now, you can go beyond the limits that we're going to talk about today at your own risk. If you understand the law, and if you are confident in your understanding, and you're able to walk into a court and fight it, but never give them jurisdiction if they don't have it. And I mean that. Never, ever. And in most cases, they don't have jurisdiction. So you don't want to walk into their court. What you do is you have to fight the jurisdictional issue. Me, I just tell them, you don't have jurisdiction over me, period. In this particular instance. And so, to get me in your court, you're going to have to come and kill me, because the only way I'm going in your court is dead. Dead. D-E-A-D, dead. And I mean it. That's why the Founding Fathers taught us what they taught us, and that's why they give us the second article and amendment. In reality, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't to go hunting. It was to protect your person and property against thieves, murderers, and despotic governments. If you don't like that, go live in Cuba. You know, they don't let you have a gun down there. And you can live under pure communism or socialism or whatever that corruption of whatever it is that they have down there really is. Did you know that it must be pretty good because the people in Russia now are screaming for the communists to come back and take care of them because they've lost the ability to be responsible and take care of themselves under communism. They don't like this democracy stuff, which leads me into another thing.
Democracy.
Democracy. Tell us about democracy, Doyel. Tell us about democracy.
Well,
what is democracy?
Mobocracy. Mob rules.
Mob rules. I hear all these people who talk about freedom and talk about protecting the rights of minorities, calling this a democracy and calling for more democracy and loving the hell out of democracy. You know what democracy is? Democracy is where all the powerful slave owners get together because there's more of them than you, and they enslave you. That's democracy. Because, you see, they can vote to do it because there's more of them than there are of you. You know what democracy is? Democracy is the innocent guy. Did you see To Kill a Mockingbird? That was democracy.
Yeah.
The lynch mob. That was democracy. Everybody in town got together, decided to hang this black guy who was falsely accused of raping a white girl. He was saved by a man who did not believe in democracy. What was his name? Oh, come on.
I don't remember now. All I remember is Scout. That's all I remember.
Scout, yeah.
Scout was good.
His name was Finch.
Right.
Gregory Peck was the star. See, Gregory Peck didn't believe in democracy. He believed in republican government. Oh, what's that, you say? Well, I got to tell you, it doesn't have anything to do with the Republican Party because they don't believe in the Republican government either. If they did, they wouldn't be doing half the things that they do in Congress. How many of you knew that this is not a democracy, never was a democracy, was never intended to be a democracy? In fact, in the Constitution for the United States of America, Article 4, Paragraph 4, would you turn to that, please, for me? I want to read you guys something that you don't even know.
Article 4.
You're ignorant. You want democracy? Well, you better watch out because you might get it. You see, a democracy is where the mob decides everything. And if you're a minority, you lose. You lose. You want democracy? Hey, that's what Hitler had. Article 4, Section 4, Constitution for the United States of America. Listen carefully, all you democracy fools out there. Quote, the United States shall guarantee to every state in this Union a republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. Which means the United States government cannot send troops into a state to quell domestic violence unless the legislature of the state requests that they do so by majority vote. And if the legislature is not in session or cannot be convened, not just not in session, but cannot be convened upon request of the governor. Republican form of government? Oh my, I thought this was a democracy. Do you know why they want us to believe this is a democracy? Do you know why they keep saying this is a democracy? Do you know why all of these socialists and twits and airheads in Washington, D.C. and on television keep repeating this word democracy? Why, Doyle?
It's easier to step on it.
Much easier to step on us. But there are some better clues than that. How many of you know who V.I. Lenin is? V.I. Lenin was the founder of the Soviet Union. He created a philosophy called Leninism, which is not too much different than Marxism, but it came out of Marxism. It is sort of a little improvement or backslide from what Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels wrote. V.I. Lenin said this, and you better listen to me very carefully. Quote, "Democracy is indispensable to socialism," end quote. Karl Marx said, and I quote, "Democracy is the road to socialism," end quote. This is a constitutional republic. Our Constitution guarantees. It doesn't say, you might have. It doesn't say, well, if you want it, we'll give it to you. It doesn't say, well, you can have one if you want. It guarantees every state in this Union of States a Republican form of government. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. If you're a real American, you'll get real high. If you're not, it'll make you sick. And if it makes you sick, you know that you're a Marxist, communist, Leninist fool, and I'll personally pay your ticket to Cuba or any other communist or socialist government that you want to go to. I promise you that. I will pay for your ticket. I will accompany you down and hug you and kiss you and say goodbye, and I will cry when you leave the dock. And I will be so happy for you. You see, I can't believe all of these people who come here for the freedom, for the opportunity, and the greatness that this country offers to anybody who wants to work for it and grab it and take it and run with it and realize the American dream. I can't believe how quickly they cry about their rights while they're in the process of destroying those rights to create some other form of government that will guarantee us nothing and protect nothing, and where the state becomes the most important aspect of your life and of the world, and where people become indispensable for the welfare of the group. And what is the group? It's the majority.
51%.
It's what the white dudes were when the black dudes were slaves. Do you understand? You see, I don't think that a lot of you understand anything about much of anything at all. It's like somebody just came through this country in the dead of night and just started, injecting formaldehyde into brain cavities.
Invasion of the brain snatchers.
Yeah. I went to the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas. And I'm walking through this hotel and I just keep realizing this place isn't right. There's something wrong about this place. And there was, folks. You see, they have all of these trees in there. Palm trees. Beautiful, tall palm trees in there. They look so real. Finally, I asked somebody, I said, how do you make these trees look so real? He said, oh, sir, they are real. Well, they're not in dirt. They're not growing. I mean, how can they be real? Oh, I'm sorry, sir, but they're preserved in formaldehyde. Trees, ladies and gentlemen, 40, 50 feet high. Big, huge coconut trees, palm trees all throughout this hotel. Injected with and preserved with formaldehyde. And then all of a sudden I realized what it was that wasn't right about this place. It smelled like a tomb. And it's built like a tomb. It's a pyramid. And what I was smelling was formaldehyde, which gave me this kind of uneasy, queasy feeling because I never liked formaldehyde in biology class in high school. And so that's what was happening there. We're almost up to the top of the hour. I can't believe it. 1 hour. Gee, this is incredible. 1 hour. Where's our thing that we're supposed to do here? Where's our thing we're supposed to do here? Okay. I've got it right here. Don't fret, Alan. I have it right here in front of me, and exactly on the hour, I'm going to do it. Okay? And Oh, you had this written down. Around 1845, play music and flip the tape. Well, that's okay. We didn't flip the tape. We flipped the tape. The tape has been flipped. Well, I got to tell you, guys, this is really a treat to be back on the air, and to be back on the air with a good, strong signal. For all of those of you who heard rumors about how we were kicked off of WWCR, that's not true. I want to set you straight right now. I was on WWCR for a good 4 years, and all during those 4 years I had requested, asked, begged for an earlier time slot, and was promised that when the first one opened up, I would get it. So when Tom Valentine left WWCR, I thought that I was going to get his old time slot because I'd been promised, and I'd been paying, we've been paying our airtime on schedule and all this kind of stuff, and come to find out they lied to me. I was told that, no, I wasn't going to get any earlier airtime, and so that made me angry. I'm a man of principle, ladies and gentlemen, and so I kicked WWCR out of the hour of the time. We left them, and we did it because they lied to us, and we lost a huge audience. But you see, principles come before everything else in my life. Has to. If it doesn't, there can be no life. There can be no trust. There can be no truth. There can only be betrayal. There can only be uncertainty and all of that kind of stuff. And all around the world, you're listening to WBCQ, Monticello, Maine, USA. One more time, WBCQ, Monticello, Maine, USA. I guess I did that right, Alan. I'm not sure, but
The planet.
oh, the planet.
On High Street.
Let's do that. High Street.
There you go, Alan.
You see, we can have fun too while we're teaching you stuff. Well, that dragon, he's out of his cage, and here's what we think about that dragon.
Yeah. Fresh, one of the illest, the realest. No man can match me or copy me, cause my business is never done sloppily. I'm taking over, call me Monopoly, or come take a cheap shot at me so I can take out your tin. You lost my win. Every time you grab the microphone, it's a fucking sin. I'm from the city of angels, here to bless you. Never drinking whack juice, I'm fresh from the left, forcing fakers to the test. Alias Jerry West, aka Mr. Clutch. I bang a stunt, then go to brunch, then take home another by lunch. Whack punk, step up and get munched. I roll up like a blunt, then leave you in bandages. Mike Savages represent Los Angeles. Nobody can handle us, battling us, say fabulous. It's hazardous, we're hard to kill like Lazarus. Heaven sent me to this mic, I bless. Cause every time you say my name, you say I'm fresh, the best. Now I'm Batiman, won't come test. Yo, fresh. What up? You ready to do damage? Ready to ravage? Fresh, aka the microphone savage, doing damage. Tick, damage. Yo, fresh. What up? You ready to do damage? Ready to ravage? Fresh, aka the microphone savage, doing damage. Tick, damage. What's your name, kid? My name's Fresh and I don't claim red or blue, but I'm gangster as fuck. I'm Lucky Manara, the first to bomb on you. Pack you in my trunk while I'm packing up my blunt. Blazing on the marijuana on my way to Tijuana. Balance out on I-5, you realize you're not gonna survive. Your heart's beating shifty, I just passed National City, East Street, then H Street. Your history like last week, Coronado, then Via de San Isidro. Crossing to Mexico, still pumping on that Pedro. And not even Obama can stop me from sending you home to your mama in a pine box of glittles on my shit. I'll belittle you while popping Percocets like Skittles. Fool bringing a funk and I just rolled up. Like what up? Pass Martinez the keys to the trunk. I murder MCs, I don't front. Plus I swing for the fence, I don't bunt. Yo, fresh. What up? You ready to do damage? Ready to ravage? Fresh, aka the microphone savage, doing damage. Tick, damage. Yo, fresh. What up? You ready to do damage? Ready to ravage? Fresh, aka the microphone savage, doing damage. Tick, damage. What you gonna do, kid? Chop my way out of the chorus like a machete to a thick green forest. No time for rest, call my crib empty nest. I call you a city at best, so drop your pieces, rest in pieces, and pray my mic finger releases before dispose of your needy crew. Indeed it's true, easy like my check 1, 2. Come test me, fools, please. They call me Swan House from all the 8 balls I MJ cheed. I make the mic bleed, the aroma makes me hypey, delights me not lightly. Even after I drink Thai crew, won't appetize me. Go ahead, surprise me, it's cool. Even when my stomach's full, break into your house, eat up all your fucking food. Stay in your room or come out like a fool looking for clues. Either way, if you fuck with me, you lose. Cause I do damage at UFOs above average. Fresh, aka the microphone savage. Yo, fresh. What up? You ready to do damage? Ready to ravage? Fresh, aka the microphone savage, doing damage. Damage. Yo, fresh. What up? You ready to do damage? Ready to ravage? Fresh, aka the microphone savage, doing damage. Damage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. Welcome to the second hour of the time. You see, there's never hours of the time. There's only the hour of the time. And this is the hour of the time, the most important hour that ever was or ever will be, because during this hour you're going to determine your future, and thus you're going to help determine our collective futures. Whatever you do does make a difference. It does. What you believe in makes a difference. What they, you know what's going to happen here in 2 more minutes? We have to change another tape. No? What happened?
7:30.
7:30.
Another 45 minutes.
No. That tape.
Oh, that tape.
That's an hour tape.
Oh, I think.
That's an hour tape. And 2 minutes, we need to change that tape. Oh, hold on. Let me get this. Sorry, folks. We're in the process of doing something else here, too. This is the one that has to go in next.
Right.
What you do is you take the other one out, put it in here. This is the one that you're going to put in.
Right.
And we're in the process. We got tapes going all over this place, ladies and gentlemen. This is a momentous, historic night, and we've got tapes everywhere. So we're going to do this and let you just. We'll let you. What are we going to let you do? Let me see here. Let me see what I've got in. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Oh my goodness! It's not the pork and beans thing, and it's. Let's go back to. Okay, let's go back to this one. We'll do this one, folks. Here you go. Oh, you turned it off. He caught me. Well, folks, here we are back again. Okay, we're going to tell you all about, during this hour, how to do your thing without making the FCC angry. You see, it is legal, despite what you heard last week, it is legal to transmit. Oh, yes, it is. It's called micro broadcasting. You can transmit. In fact, I'm going to tell you exactly where to go to get everything that you need, and even some things that you don't need in case you want to transmit a little higher, which means with more watts. Now, we recommend that you start out legal, lawful, according to the FCC, even though if you can broadcast within the territorial boundaries of a state, you don't have to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, AM skips. Even if you have a very low power AM transmitter, it skips. Therefore, if you want to prevent transmitting across a state line or international boundary, you cannot broadcast AM. Listen to me carefully. AM skips. AM radio skips. So if you wish not to broadcast across state lines or international borders, you cannot use AC transmitters. So what can you use? Well, folks, you can use an FM transmitter, what they call a micro broadcasting transmitter. By micro broadcasting, I'm talking about anything less than 100 milliwatts, or microwatts. Now, I get milliwatts and microwatts confused, okay? Somebody told me once that milliwatts is like 100,000 watt. I don't know. All I know is you can broadcast on FM at 25 thousandths of a watt or 100 thousandths of a watt, and you will be broadcasting perfectly legal. Anything 100 thousandths of a watt or less is legal. And if you are broadcasting within a state, away from a state border or an international border, you can even broadcast commercial, which means you can have commercials. You can charge for airtime. You can do all of that stuff. You see, it has to be interstate or international commercial broadcasting in order to be regulated by the FCC under the supreme law of the land and under the United States Code. Well, how do they get away with this? It's simple, folks. They just did it, and they've been doing it for so many years, it has become accepted fact. But it's not that. It is a fraud. It is a scam. Recently, they went to shut down a friend of mine, Reverend Strawcutter, up in Michigan. I forget how many watts he was broadcasting with, but he was broadcasting intrastate. And I don't know if he was broadcasting commercial stuff or not, but he was intrastate, which means within the territorial boundaries of his state of Michigan. And he was broadcasting on FM, which is line of sight, which doesn't go very far. I mean, you can have a lot of power, and FM still will not go very far. It will go until it hits a mountain or a tall building or a hill or something like that, or the power just peters out and goes away. And so the FCC went and tried to indict him, took him into court, and guess what? For once, somebody got a federal judge who wasn't corrupt, who wasn't crooked, and who really understood the law, understood the supreme law of the land, the Constitution, and told the Federal Communications Commission, and this just happened just a couple of weeks ago, folks, told the FCC to take a hike. Your case is nothing but smoke and mirrors. You have no jurisdiction over this man. How about that? And I jumped up and down for joy. For joy, ladies and gentlemen. You see, this judge, I guess, he just said, well, I'm tired, I'm sick of being corrupted by all of this stuff. And he did the right thing. Now, of course, the FCC is going to appeal it. Going to appeal it. I don't know what's going to happen when it's appealed. You see, he was broadcasting with a lot more than micro broadcasting power. If you do what we're going to tell you tonight, you can broadcast in your neighborhood and be perfectly legal and nobody's going to bother you as long as you make sure that you do the things that we tell you to do. Now, if you want to take a shortcut, you can go directly to our website and get the whole lowdown right now. Go to our home page, which is http://harvest-trust.org. or org. That's http://harvest-trust.org. O-R-G. And go down the page until you see micro broadcasting or radio broadcasting or radio or anything to do with it, and just keep clicking on stuff until you get where you want to go. We have tons and tons and tons of legal documentation there. We have tons and tons of how to do it and what you got to do and all of these kinds of things. So, if you want to broadcast, you can do it lawfully, you can do it legally. You cannot broadcast over a large area unless you're lucky like I am. You see, I have the Ramsey FM 100 professional FM stereo transmitter, which I purchased from Ramsey Electronics. But you see, I live way high up on a hill that overlooks a round valley. The valley is round. It goes all around this hill that I live on. And so I'm able to broadcast to about 7,000 people with this little bitty transmitter that you can literally put in a shoebox. You can put it in a shoebox, ladies and gentlemen. and I am broadcasting to 7,000 people. How am I doing it? I live way up on top of a hill, and I have an antenna that goes up just above the roof line of my house. It is also a Ramsey antenna. And we're going to talk about these things, okay? My transmitter puts out 25 thousandths of a watt. It's an FM transmitter. It's solid on frequency. It doesn't drift. It has high and low filters in it, which means it does not create harmonics on other frequencies and interfere with any other broadcast station or any other frequency. It's stereo, and folks, believe me, it sounds just as good or better than any commercial broadcasting station in the country. It really sounds good. What does my community think? They love it. Everybody in this community listens to 101.1 FM Eager. Everybody. They love it, literally. There's no commercials. This is 24-hour a day, real old music. You talk about golden oldies. Well, it's not the 50s golden oldies, although there are a few of those, doo-wop classics in there and some classic old rock and roll. There's rhythm and blues. There is the best jazz that's ever been played in your life. The big band sound, the old World War II stuff. All of it. Old stuff. You know why we stick to the old stuff? Because all the copyrights have expired. We're not stepping on anybody's toes, ladies and gentlemen. We're not taking business away from the community, although the local broadcasting station is pretty hot under the collar because everybody wants to listen to my station. And it's not my station. It doesn't belong to me. I manage it, so to speak. The Independence Foundation hires me to manage the station. The Independence Foundation is a charitable trust. In fact, it's my daughter's charitable trust. And the job of the charitable trust is to give back to the community and to the nation some of that which we have so abundantly received over the years. And part of that is 101.1 FM Eager. You see, we believe in giving back. We believe in sharing the abundance that we have so graciously been endowed with by the freedoms in this nation that were granted to us by God and that are protected by the Constitution for the United States of America, which our founding fathers in their great wisdom wrote. Amazing, isn't it? You know what I'm going to do now? I've been talking so much and I've got to get this fellow here broken in. I'm going to let him talk about some of the stuff in the Ramsey catalog. Now, in the Ramsey catalog that we have here, the FM 100 professional FM stereo transmitter is not in this catalog. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about it right here. The kit for the FM, there's two versions of the FM 100. There's a 1-watt version that can only be exported, and if you order that, you have to enclose a letter stating over your signature that you are going to export it if you order the 1-watt version. If you order the kit, the FM 100 kit, which is the one that I have, it costs $249.95. And I don't know what else. Well, anyway, I told you about that. I've told you all about that transmitter. Doyel is going to talk about the other things in the Ramsey catalog, and I'm going to take a little break here and sort of let my vocal cords cool off because they're getting overheated and my tongue is starting to smoke, and and I don't want my teeth to get black from that. Okay, so Doyel, there you go.
All right, sounds good. All right. A couple of the other transmitters that are in this catalog on the FM line. One of them is the FM 25 professional synthesized FM stereo transmitter. Now that in its kit form runs $129.95, and it's a good transmitter also. It's synthesized for the whole FM band, so there's no frequency drift. It's strappable for higher power output. That's like running them in series or parallel. It's all DIP switches. There's no needs for tuning coils or tweaking on it. Those of you into electronics understand that. You don't need to mess with it all the time. It does not drift. This unit here is, 4 years old, and it's still rock solid on 101.1. At a transmit strength, we meter it all the time. One other version they carry also is the just a step down in price. It doesn't have as many features. The quality's still just as good. This is the FM10A. This is a good version to start out with. Doesn't offer everything, but it is true stereo. All you need to do is get the kit, $34.95. You can hook up a cassette deck, a CD player, mixer panel, whatever you want. It's got line level inputs, of course, and you're on the air essentially once you hook up an antenna. It's adjustable anywhere in the 88 to 108 megahertz band, which is your FM band. Very stable RF output, and it'll operate on anything from 1.5 to 15 volts DC, so you can run on a 9-volt battery. So it's portable. And actually this one comes with the battery clips and leads and a optional power jack, which is installed just by the AC adapter to plug it into the wall if you don't want to run on batteries all day. But this is really simple stuff, and it is very legal to do. We have lots of fun here. Some of the other things that are in this catalog, you really should contact Ramsey and get this catalog so you can see what all is available out there. But for instance, the antennas like that we use here to transmit in the Round Valley of Arizona, this is available in here. They are quite simple to put together. They come with your F-type connectors, which is like your coaxial connectors, the PVC tubing to weatherproof it essentially. It can be mounted in a vertical or horizontal orientation, however you wish, depending on how you want to send out your signal. Very simple to put up, and actually you can cut it right to the frequency that you want to transmit on, and that's really tweaking there. That lets you really have at it, really transmit crystal clear. Although I believe the antenna here was just left factory and for close to the exact frequency, and it sounds beautiful anywhere you drive in town. And in fact, the other station in town that Bill mentioned earlier is very jealous. It's caused him to actually change his format to try to get back some of the market, because he essentially didn't want to compete. He just wanted us to turn off. But we don't believe in that. And one of the other things that annoyed him, unfortunately, was the fact that most of the high school listen to this station. They still do at lunch. It's played at the high school and at local offices all over town.
Huh?
The antenna. I can't find the page.
Oh, you can't find the antenna?
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I can find the antenna. Yeah, it's in here, all right.
I told him about it.
The antenna is really simple, folks. It's where's my headphones? Okay, when you get used to radio and you try talking to a microphone without a headphone on, it sounds weird. Sounds like you're not talking. Sounds like you're not going out anywhere. Okay, let me find the antenna. It's right somewhere. It is here. I know
it's in there. We know it.
It really is, folks.
We have one.
And it works. It works really good. Everything that we use is Ramsey. And the reason that we use it is simply because Ramsey products are made to work with Ramsey products. And I have found that they really do that, and they really do that well. Where did that little rascal go here?
I have no idea.
Well,
we lost it.
Maybe it headed for higher ground. Are we flooding? Is there a flood? Hey, I can't believe this. Now this is maybe it's on the back page, right? Okay, let me go through it one more time, because you've got to know about the antenna. You must know about the antenna. Anyway, it's easy to put together. I ordered the kit. It's a little kit, and it's made specifically to work with Ramsey micro broadcasting FM transmitters. It works fantastically. You can trim it to the exact frequency so that it works absolutely perfectly on whatever frequency you decide that you're going to broadcast on, and I can't believe I can't find it. Anyway, what you need to do is call Ramsey and ask them for a current catalog, because I'm sure that they've got a lot of things in their catalog now that they didn't have in this one. You see, this is an old catalog, and I can't believe it's not even there. It isn't here. It isn't. Anyway, the antenna only costs about $36, maybe. Comes in kit form. You put it together. It took me exactly an hour to put it together, and about another 2 hours to mount it on an antenna pole, and make everything anchored and get the wiring hooked up. And by the way, you want to use RG58, which is 50 ohm resistance cable, so that you get the best performance from your transmitter and from your antenna. And folks, let me tell you this, because you're going to see this in all the instructions you get. You're going to see it in the Ramsey catalog. In fact, you can go to the Ramsey website and look at the antenna that we're looking for right now. I'm not going to find it. No. I don't know why I'm not going to find it. But,
it's gone.
But I'm not going to find it. It's either gone or my brain's gone or something. I don't. Maybe there's a page missing out of here. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Anyway, be that as it may, when you're hooking up an antenna, any antenna, listen to me very carefully, folks. Make sure that you stay away from power lines. Make sure you stay away from the power lines coming into your house. Because if while you're working on that antenna, any part of it falls and touches a power line, you could get electrocuted and killed dead. Do not try to assemble and raise an antenna in a thunderstorm or when there are dark clouds overhead, because you may attract lightning and you may get fried. Do it on a clear, sunshiny day, and keep away from power lines, and do everything safe. And make sure that you ground your antenna really good and your equipment is grounded really good. And that way you'll keep your equipment from being fried by a lightning strike or by static electricity, or all the things that can fry equipment. And believe me, folks, it's so easy to kill a piece of electronic equipment that has microchips in it just by a static electric spark jumping from your hand to a circuit board or something. It doesn't even have to be a circuit board. It can be the case of the radio if the radio is not grounded. I know. I've done it a couple of times. So believe me, it's the truth. And it's not good when it happens. It's really, really bad. So you can do that. Now, here's a one. Now, also, I am obligated to tell you this. We are not working for Ramsey Electronic Hobby and Amateur Radio Kits. We are not being paid by Ramsey. Ramsey does not know that we are doing this. Ramsey does not give us a commission, kickback, percentage, football tickets, or anything else.
Not even a new catalog.
Although I've got to tell you, if they call an offer, we probably won't refuse. But they don't even know we're doing this. We're not doing this to make Ramsey a lot of money. We're doing this because we know Ramsey has good, economical, legal kits that you can get into and broadcast in your neighborhood. Now, let me tell you something. Unless you're way up on a hill like we are, overlooking a lot of people, you're not going to broadcast very far. If you live in a neighborhood and all the houses around you are on the same level as you, it is important that you find out what the local ordinances and laws are about how high you can have an antenna. And what you want to do is get your antenna just as high as you can possibly get it above everything that's around you. Now, if you have tall buildings around you, what you want to do is go negotiate with whoever owns those buildings to put your antenna on their roof, on a pole on their roof, way above their roof, on a pole attached to the pole. And, the higher you can get it, the farther you're going to transmit and the more people are going to hear you. But listen to me very carefully. If only 6 families can hear you, That's 6 more families than that ever would have heard what you're going to broadcast. Listen to me very carefully. If we can make a network of these small micro broadcasting transmitters across America, we can knock Ted Copulate right off the air. And Dan Rather Not.
Brian Gumball.
And Brian Gumball. And Rush Limburger. Excellence in broadcasting, my donkey. My donkey.
Yeah, your donkey, okay.
Almost said it, but I didn't.
What's some other things we can mention? The ground rods, how far, space them apart, how deep.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Doyle, go for that. You studied that.
Yeah. Okay, when you mount your antenna, when you erect the antenna, you need to make sure it is grounded. And don't do this in the rain like some people do. That's very dangerous. And one thing you need to do is you have to have good copper grounding rods. You can get those through electrical outlets, your hardware stores. Try to avoid the aluminum that's copper clad, like our cheap pennies. Get solid copper. You might pay half again as much, but they're much better. For your grounding, you want to run 8 feet if you can. 8 feet of grounding rod in undisturbed soil, which means don't pound it to where you just installed a new septic tank or something so all the soil is disturbed. It does not ground as well. Try to find undisturbed soil. Hammer it into the ground. If you get a 4-foot rod all the way level with the dirt, then run 2 of them. You've got essentially 8 foot of ground. Run at least a 10 gauge solid copper, not braided, solid copper wire from the grounding rods to your mast and from the mast to the antenna. Kind of daisy chain them. And if you don't know how to fasten them, you can use stainless steel hose clamps. Don't use cheap aluminum. Use stainless steel. But by grounding properly, you're going to protect your equipment because the lightning and electrical problems that will incur that will ruin your equipment are actually static buildup starting on your mast. And that's what wants to attract lightning. It doesn't just come down and hit your mast.
Actually, lightning goes up from the ground.
Up from the ground, yeah. It goes up. And you have to create that static charge initially to get a buildup. Also, you can buy a static discharge unit for under $5.
Sure.
Yeah, at Radio Shack. Really simple.
We believe in spreading the American dream and the wealth to anybody who offers good products. We offer good recommendations. We get nothing from Radio Shack either. The Radio Shack people here in our town have been just absolutely wonderful with us and have helped us an awful lot. So you can get a lot of these things from Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Including grounding rods.
Yeah, and grounding rods. Tape.
Uh-oh. Okay, we're coming up on the next tape. Is this the right time to do it?
7:30.
Okay. 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 We're back in business.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, you can purchase, like we say, solid copper grounding rods from hardware stores, Radio Shack, or large electrical, warehouses where they wind motors. Any electrician can point you in the direction. Like I say, use at least 10 gauge solid copper wire. True grounding wire is 4 gauge. It's about a 1/4 inch thick. It runs about 50 to 75 cents a foot. Whereas you can get 10 gauge for right around 14 to 18 cents a foot. And 10 gauge is plenty because you're running a very small antenna, very low power, and very low elevation because you're not a commercial outfit. Okay? One thing about the static discharge unit, it mounted on the outside on the mast, it just goes in line. The wire goes into it and right back out of it. It's only about 2 inches long, and essentially it's a fusible link. If the static level gets too high or you do get hit with an electrical discharge, i.e. lightning, then it melts and doesn't let the charge come into your house and melt your equipment completely. It'll probably ruin it, but at least your house won't burn down.
Yeah, our house won't burn down. That's good, Doyle.
It's going to hurt the equipment.
Oh, man. There's a lot of other things. Like I said, folks, if only 6 people hear your radio station on the air, 6 neighbors, that's 6 more people that will hear the truth than would ever hear it watching the establishment brainwashing stuff. And I was listening last week when they kept saying, well, the Jews own all the media, the Jews own all the newspapers, the Jews own all. No, folks, they don't. All of these things are corporations. Anybody can own them. And to tell you how interested people are in really owning the news, we tried to get a movement going in the early days of the Hour of the Time, and I bet you Alan Weiner and Johnny Lightning will remember this. I know Scott Becker will. We tried to get together a movement whereby people bought stock in Gannett Corporation, which owns a major portion of the media in this country. And all we wanted to do was get a voting block of stock that was large enough so that we could dictate to the board of directors that they tell the truth in the newspapers and on the radio and on the television stations that Gannett owned. And guess what? All this griping and moaning and complaining about how all the Jews own all the media and nobody tells the truth in the media, and we want to have a voice in the media, and we want to go back to the way America is supposed to be. Guess how many of these whining, complaining, nitwit, ignoramus sheeple really wanted to do that? Guess how many of them would part with just enough money to buy 1 or 2 shares of stock and turn over the voting rights to us so that we could go and vote as one block of stock? You ready? Not many, folks. I'm not going to embarrass you by telling you the true number. You see, we needed a whole bunch of stock, and we got some stock. And the people who really did care and really did buy the stock and turn over the proxy to us so that we could go to the stockholders meeting and vote their stock were good, honest people who really mean what they say and really care. And everybody else is still sitting around bitching and complaining about how the Jews own the media. Well, I got to tell you something. Anybody who owns stock in the media owns the media, and you all had your chance. I know that at the time that we started this movement, I had 10 million listeners in the United States alone, not counting all the millions of listeners around the world who were listening to the Hour of the Time on WWCR. So you had your chance. You're still sitting there bitching and complaining and crying and whining and moaning.
Someone sold it to them.
Well, if they do, somebody sold it to them. And I don't think that they really do. I think if you really examined the ownership of the stock of all of the media companies in this country, you'd find out that very few of them are Jews. And if you don't believe me, check it out for yourself. You see, they're corporations. If you really want to take the media away from whoever the hell you think owns it, all you got to do is do it. All you got to do is buy the stock and vote it. You can hire a whole new board of directors. You can hire new editors and talking heads and we could we could put a canvas coat on Ted Copulate and stick him in a rowboat off the coast of Maine and make a fisherman out of him. And that's the truth. I got to tell you, that little turkey makes me so mad when I see him strutting there with his ego hanging out all over the place, like he really knows what we're supposed to think. Mm-hmm. Oh man. You talk about a banty rooster. I've never seen anything in my life like Ted Copulate. Oh. Don't get me started. Don't get me started on these guys because I can't stand them. His air of superiority. Oh, jeez. As if, never mind. Dear Lord, help me through my hour of need. Give me strength and shut me up. Thank you. Okay, now, here's the goal. Here's what we want to do. You see, We don't care if you broadcast the hour of the time or not, but we hope that you will, whether you broadcast it off of shortwave or buy tapes and broadcast the tapes. So however you want to do it is fine with us. We want you to also get a satellite receiving system because you're going to have material to broadcast. You can get it, and we're going to make it available to you. And you can get it for about $500 and something, a whole total kit and caboodle, everything that you need in order to receive programming, free programming from satellite and rebroadcast it on your micro FM station. And we want you to carry the hour of the time, whether you receive it off a short wave and broadcast it on your FM station and let people hear what short wave really sounds like. In fact, that's a good selling thing, because most people have never heard shortwave in their life. It'll give them a chance to see what listening to shortwave is really like. And I think a lot of people will want to do that. So, if we can make a network of these micro broadcasting stations across the nation and across every city in this country, and we all start broadcasting material off of satellite and off of shortwave, then, ladies and gentlemen, the American people have a chance to hear the truth. We believe in freedom of speech. We want you to broadcast whatever the hell you want to broadcast. I don't care what it is, but we want you to broadcast. We want you to take the airwaves back away from these brainwashing nitwits that think that we're too stupid to be able to handle the truth and just feed us pablum and brainwashing all day, every day. I'm sick of it. I know that most of you are sick of it. Doyel's sick of it. My daughters are sick of it. Everybody that I know is absolutely sick of it. Can't stand it. Gag me with a spoon, a la, what's his name in L.A.? Valley Girl stuff. And Frank Zappa. He's all right. I like Frank Zappa. You've got to do it. You see, if we can get 2 micro broadcasting stations on every block in America, all broadcasting the same thing at least part of the day, and whatever you want to broadcast on your own for the rest of the day, because you're all going to have to broadcast some of these same things, because we know that if you're into this, you're into freedom. And if you're into freedom, you're going to want to broadcast some of the programming that is into freedom. Like Radio New York International. Friday Night Live. My good friend Gary Bourgeois. This WBCQ is great. I've got to tell you, it really is great. And it's nostalgic to me because we all started out together. We all started together.
Cool.
Now, I don't know if we all started radio together, but I know we all started together on the Becker Satellite Network at one particular time, and the guys from Radio New York International and Alan Weiner helped me get started, and Scott Becker helped me get started, and if it hadn't been for them, there would never have been an hour at a time, because I didn't know how to do it. And when I first started, I was on satellite, folks, and I got to tell you, there's this huge satellite radio audience out there, because I really thought, this is the truth, I really thought that I was just being broadcast on a satellite and nobody was listening. I thought that radio stations tune through these satellites and decide if they're going to pick up programming or not. That's what I thought. That's how dumb I was. I didn't know anything. I was ignorant about radio. That's what I thought was happening. And then all of a sudden one day we went down to the mailbox and guess what?
There's a lot of mail.
Not just a lot of mail. Hundreds and hundreds of letters from not just the United States, but all over the world who were listening to me on this stupid satellite. And that was incredible.
Just this morning, Luxembourg, South Africa,
yeah.
France.
So then we got some a little bit of money together, not much. We didn't have much. And we got on early Monday morning on WWCR. It was Sunday night past midnight. I think it was 1 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning. And I thought, everybody's in bed. But it was, it was cheap. We were paying almost nothing for the airtime at that time. You'd pay out the nose if you go on WWCR today. For what, I don't know. But because they don't treat you good. Got to tell you that right now. They treated us like dirt after all that years of paying them on time and promising us and screwed us over royally. So we have no love for WWCR whatsoever at all, period. And anyway, there we were at 1 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning. Everybody's got to go to work Monday morning. Nobody's up in the middle of the night listening to me being picked up off a satellite, which nobody is listening to, at 1 o'clock in the morning. And it became the most popular broadcast on WWCR. Where all these people came from out of the woodwork, I don't know. We got a call from Adam Locke, who wanted to give us 5 nights a week following Tom Valentine because of the popularity of the broadcast. They said they were getting more mail than they've ever gotten about any show ever. And we didn't have the money. And what we always do is we look at something and see if it's the right thing to do. And if it is, we do it, and we trust in God to furnish us with whatever we need. And yes, folks, I do believe in God. I am not an atheist. I look around at this world and this universe, and I see an intelligent hand at work. I do not believe that there's some old guy in white robes with a long beard sitting on some throne somewhere. No. But I believe in God, 100%. And I believe that there's one of the laws that God has is if you're doing the right thing, He'll take care of you. And if you're not, won't. That's all there is to it. So that's how we try to do things. And sometimes we're successful and sometimes we're not. And sometimes I get off track and I get smacked down and I got to get back on track. And then things smooth out and stuff magically appears when we need it. And that's the way it seems to work. I don't question it. I believe that life is for living, and it's for living doing as much good as you possibly can. And any attempt to find any other reason or purpose or anything else only meets with somebody getting absolutely lost, sidetracked, and is worthless to themselves and everybody else until they figure out that whatever they were looking for was already there in the first place. They just didn't want to confront it, and it's always inside of us. Anyway, that's your philosophy from Bill Cooper tonight. Other than that, my main belief is freedom. If you think this program is religious, it's a freedom ministry.
And there you go.
A ministry of freedom, nothing else. Nothing else. We believe in freedom of everything. I don't care what it is. I do not believe in victimless crimes. You see, that's where the government steps out and decides to make everybody a criminal. That's what a victimless crime is. It's an attempt by the government to get something on everybody so that if you step out of line or say something the government doesn't like, they smack you down like a fly. Like a fly. So,
did you give the number?
Oh, we didn't give the number. Okay, to call Ramsey and get a catalog. Get a current catalog before you do anything. And you can talk to them about whatever you want to talk to them about. But remember, they're busy. So call them, toll free, 1-800-446-2295. Get a catalog. You can go to our website and go to the micro broadcasting pages, and in fact, we can go online right now, and I can just help you guys out here. Let me crank up the old computator.
Talk about wire more.
Pardon?
Talk about wire. Everybody's going to tell them to use RG59.
No. Don't use RG59. That's 75 ohm. You want 50 ohm, which is RG58. And if you want really good RG58, you want to get Belden. It's called Belden. And if you're not really good at hooking up connections and all that kind of stuff, measure what cable you need first and order from somebody who can professionally make up the links for you and put the fittings on. You want probably F fittings. But you can get any kind of fittings you want that'll be compatible with your equipment. Remember, folks, we need to get a network of low power micro broadcasting stations all across this country. Now, when we went off of WWCR and we're just on satellite for a while, we created the Worldwide Freedom Radio Network, and we had over 700 low-power FM broadcasters picking up our network every single night until we got into some unforeseen difficulties, and the person that we were subleasing the satellite transponder from didn't pay his bill and wasn't sending us any invoices or bills, and so we lost the transponder. It wasn't our fault, and I don't even know if it was his fault either. I don't know whose fault it was, but that went by the wayside. Now satellite transponders, sub-audio carriers are so expensive now that the cheapest one we found, they want $2,500 a month, and we can't afford that, folks. And so we're on shortwave and low-power FM only. We still have many low-power micro-broadcasting stations across the country that purchase tapes from us of the old Hour of the Time and air them religiously. You can also find the Hour of the Time on the Internet. And, that's really something. The Internet is amazing, I got to tell you. It is a place of great possibilities and great criminality and a great horde of social misfits who hide behind computers and strike out at the world. And it's a great source of disinformation, lies, things that you wouldn't believe, but they're there. They're all there. I got to tell you, let me see if I can remember the password. Yeah, there it is. I think that's it. Okay. We are attempting to dial into the Internet, folks. So that little beep, 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 that's the modem dialing the phone. And in just a few minutes, we'll be online. Or just a few, should be a few seconds. We'll find out anyway.
Also tell them about the kits.
The kits.
How they'll come pre-assembled if they're really squeamish about soldering.
Oh my God! Did you hear that? Don't be alarmed, folks. That's what it sounds like when you're making connection with the provider to take you to the Internet. So everything's cool. We're going right now to http://harvest-trust.org. By the way, there is a link. There's a couple of links, 3 links, as a matter of fact, on our website to WBCQ. So when you go to our website, you'll want to click on those links and visit WBCQ's website. I am now going down to find on our homepage the link that will take us to micro-broadcasting. And I'm going to sort of clue you into a few other things that you need to know before you get lost in this without doing, the right thing. You can also see a live stock ticker on our website and all kinds of other things. Web page of Hour of the Time transcripts. Oh, let me go to the Hour of the Time page here. I'm on our home page now. We're going to the Hour of the Time page, and I'm going to tell you some of the places where you can listen to the Hour of the Time on the Internet. That is, if this thing is going to work here. Is it going to work? Yeah, here we go. Okay. For some reason, this is very slow tonight. Either the Internet has a lot of people on it. Oh, also we have an Art B.S. Bell page. That's right, Art B.S. Bell. So if you want to go to our website and read that, I highly recommend that everybody read the Art B.S. Bell page. And you may begin to understand if you... Here we go, micro-broadcasting. Let me click on that one. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It's like we're not connected or something, and I know that we are. And I really want to do this if it's going to work. And I don't know if it's going to work or not now. It doesn't appear to want to work. This will tell the tale. I'm going to plug into the email. It says finding host, but it's not doing anything, which means that there's a problem with our connection. Wouldn't you know it? Okay, I guess we're not going to do this. Go to the web page. Go to the micro broadcasting link. And when you get to the micro broadcasting link, click on it and read everything that you can find there. We spent a lot of time, a lot of work on this, and it will tell you everything that you need to do and that you need to know in order to get into micro broadcasting. For some reason, Doyel, we had a connection and we don't have it now. So anyway, I'm not going to waste airtime on this. I'm not going to waste airtime on this. So we're going to shut this thing down. And I'll print out some stuff and read it on the air for you tomorrow night, for those of you who don't have a computer and can't get on the Internet. Like I said, the Internet is a great place. It's also a terrible place. And you have to sort of learn how to deal with both. And don't believe anything. See, here's what's bad, folks, about all this cyberspace stuff and all this digitized stuff. Most people don't understand really what's happening. And all of you who think that you're safe on the Internet and all your correspondence is private, remember the government created the Internet. The government controls the Internet. Regardless of how chaotic it may seem, believe me, nothing is private on the Internet. Ever. Nothing. Period. And the minute that you think it is, that's the minute you're going to make a mistake and you're going to say or do something that's going to get you in trouble. PGP, if you think that PGP can't be cracked, I got a few bridges to sell you. The whole purpose of the National Security Agency is to crack any code that anybody creates anywhere, anytime, ever. And their specific mission is to crack codes created by nations who have millions and billions of dollars to create codes that can't be cracked, that are cracked every day by the NSA. And if you think PGP hasn't been cracked by the NSA, you're a Looney Tune nutso wacky dude. Don't ask me what that is. But whatever it is, that's what you are, if you really believe that. So, don't get caught up in those kinds of fictions, ladies and gentlemen. Cyberspace was created to control, filter, and monitor information. It was created by the United States government intentionally and purposefully. Understand that. Digital imaging was created so that they can control what you see and feel and think. You see, with analog, you can always tell if something has been faked. With digitizing, you can't. They can create people who have never lived, never existed in the history of the world, and make you believe that they are living, thinking, talking, breathing, real people. They can change pictures and events and videotape and records. Books that are digitized can have whole passages, chapters, and important portions removed or changed and other stuff inserted in there. And if you don't have the real hard copy of the printed book to compare it to, you'll never know it in your life. You will never know it. There's going to be a day coming when every transaction you make, every phone call you make, most of the business that you transact, all of your entertainment, everything is going to be connected to your television set in your living room, and the information will all be digital. You will go to a digital library to read a digital book. Moby Dick.
Remember Animal Farm?
Yep.
Change the rules on the side of the barn every day.
That's right. Change the rules on the side of the barn every day. If you didn't get up and read the rules, you didn't know what the rules were. And you got in trouble every single day. And that's what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Complete and total control of everything you see, hear, trust, believe, think, and ditto. And that's what it is. When you can't think for yourself, then you've got to ditto what somebody else told you to think. And that's what most people do. They've never had an original thought in their entire life. They are, in fact, ditto heads. And their lives are controlled by what they see and hear on television, mostly, and a little bit from radio. Most people, you know, if you can believe these polls, I don't believe any of these polls, but I saw a poll not too long ago that said the average American citizen spends 7 hours a day in front of the television set. Now think about that, folks. How can that be? I mean, if you go to work, and you work at least 8 hours a day, and you come home and you sit in front of the television set for 7 hours, and then you go to sleep, when does anybody ever talk to anybody else? Yeah. I mean, is this a nation where nobody talks anymore? Is that?
I've been to houses where family dinner was quiet and no one talked.
And was it in front of the television set?
Often, yeah.
Yeah, the big brainwashing tube. Most people's whole life is owned and controlled, and all of their thoughts come from the tube, the boob tube. And if you watch very much of it, you're a boob. And if you let your children watch very much of it, you have destroyed their brain. They will never, you know, whatever they turn out to be is anybody's guess. But it's going to be something that is going to be a reflection of what they learned on that television set. And it's the greatest wasteland I've ever seen in my life. Oh, puke, oh, puke, oh, puke, oh. Oh, fill my shoes with puke and throw them in the trash. That's, you know, that's the way I feel about it. So, now, it's 8 o'clock and we've got to do this again. You're listening to
WBCQ
Monticello, Maine,
USA.
Aha, that sounds good. Let's do it again.
All right. WBCQ
Monticello, Maine,
in the USA.
All right. We did our duty, Alan.
The planet.
The planet on High Street. Don't tell me you guys don't smoke. That's a myth if I ever heard one. Okay. Now what are we going to do? We've talked about all of that stuff, and there's just a couple of more things about this micro broadcasting that you need to know. And let me see here. The frequency survey. If you really want to make sure that you don't interfere with any other broadcasting station, in particular commercial stations or airline frequencies or anything like that, I can tell you for sure that the FM 100 professional FM stereo transmitter does not have harmonics on any other frequency, so you can rest assured of that one. I'm not so sure. I don't know anything about the FM 25, except it's not supposed to. That's what Ramsey says. The FM 10 I wouldn't trust because that's the cheapy version of the others, but you could start out with that because it really doesn't broadcast very far, so it's probably not going to interfere with anything anyway. But if you're going to, if you really want to do everything right, what you need to do is go down and find a broadcast engineer at one of the local commercial radio stations, because they're always looking for a way to make an extra buck. and get him to run a survey for you to find a frequency in your area to broadcast that will not interfere with any other station, and in particularly any other commercial broadcast station. And he's going to charge you a few bucks for that, but you need to do it. You really do. Next thing you need to do is sit down and write a letter to the FCC telling them where you purchased your transmitter, how much power it has, and tell them that you intend to broadcast with that little transmitter between between 6 p.m. and midnight, Monday through Saturday, and you're going to take Sunday off. Whatever. But once you make a schedule, you have to make sure that you're broadcasting during those times, because your listeners, once they catch on to your station, if they tune in once or twice and can't find anybody broadcasting there, guess what they do, folks? They turn off their radio or they tune to another station and they don't come back. So once you set your schedule and you broadcast your schedule to your listeners and they become used to listening to your station at those times, make sure that you're always there at that time broadcasting what they've become used to hearing. That way you will create a listenership. And if they tune in on a night that you're supposed to be there and you're not, they change stations and they don't come back usually. That's how you lose listeners. Okay? Now, the FCC is probably not going to answer your letter. And make sure you tell them the power of your transmitter. Make sure you tell them that you understand that you have a right to broadcast intrastate, non-commercial in your area, and that you're not broadcasting across any state line or any national boundary, that you purchased your equipment from Ramsey, that you have not altered the equipment, and that it is broadcasting between whatever it is in 100 thousandths of 1 watt power and no more than that. And chances are they won't even answer your letter. If they do, they'll probably wish you luck, whatever, because it's perfectly lawful and legal to do that. Okay? If they say anything else, send me a copy of what they send you, because I want to see what they're trying to do now. I want to see how far outside their bounds they're trying to step now. And of course, we don't want to let them do it. We've got to call them. When they do that kind of stuff, we have to call them on it. We have to make sure that they understand that we're not stupid, and that we understand the law, and that we know that the Constitution is the supreme law, and that they don't have the right to step outside of the restrictions and limitations of the Constitution for the United States of America, no matter what anybody else thinks, says, or does. Okay? I mean, that's just the way that it's got to be. And we got what? What's up, Pooh? Where is she? Where are you? Come here, honey. What do you want? What do you want?
It's just one candy.
You want some candy? Okay. Do you know where it is?
Yes.
Does Pooh know where it is?
Yes.
Okay. Pooh, go get you and Allison one piece of candy. That's all. And put it back. Okay? Bye, guys. Thanks for coming to visit. And thanks for asking. We have a rule in our house. No candy unless they ask, and then, if it's okay, they get one piece only so that their little teeth don't rot out of their head before they even have a chance to start living their life. And Pooh is 8 years old now. She turned 8 the 30th of May, and so she is, and by the way, she reads more than most grown adults that have college degrees and a lot of other things. And Allison is going to be, already is, just as smart. She doesn't read like Pooh does, but, she'll get there. Anyway, where was I? What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. What was I talking about? I've lost my train of thought.
Letter to the FCC?
Letter to the FCC, yeah. Whatever they write back to you, if it's any different than what I told you, usually they won't answer it. If they do answer it and you have a micro broadcasting station, they may send you some rules or something that you're supposed to follow. If they send you anything else other than good stuff, send me a copy so that I can look at it and so that we can get on the air and talk about it, and so that we can write them a letter and ask them, what they're doing now and why they're doing it, and what it all means, and that kind of stuff. That's really important. Got to keep the dragon in its cage, and we are the zookeepers. If we let the dragon get out of its cage and rampage through the town and the city and the countryside and the land, it's our fault, because that's the nature of dragons. It's the nature of government to reach out and consume power and take away and grow and get out of hand and make rules and regulations and laws and stuff until nobody can even ever hope to even know what the rules and laws are. Until you get up one morning and you find out no matter what you do, you're breaking some rule or some law somewhere because nobody knows what they are. And every 5 minutes they're passing new laws. Legislatures somehow got it in their mind that their whole purpose is to legislate, to make laws. And that's not true. Their purpose is to legislate when necessary and not legislate when it's not necessary. That's the truth. But they think somehow if they're not passing new legislation, they're not doing their job. And most of the population thinks so too, because one of the things that people get reelected by, or elected by, is how much legislation they got through Congress or they got through the State House. Bull-loaded. The more legislation somebody pushes through, the less I'm inclined to vote for them. And the chances are I won't. Now, folks, this hour of the time is costing a lot of money because we're on 3 hours each night. We're going to have some fantastic programming for you. Now, you know what I've done in the past, and I've got Doyel here to help me now, and a lot of other people, believe it or not. And so we're going to be doing some fantastic, really fantastic programming here in the future. Now, in order to maintain 3 hours a night, we've got to have some money coming in here. We absolutely must have money coming in to pay for all of this. It's got to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then when we discover that it's not going to happen, we'll cut back to 2 hours a night. And if we can't get enough money in here to pay for the 2 hours a night, ladies and gentlemen, we'll cut back to 1 hour a night. And if that doesn't work, we'll cut back to 30 minutes a night. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to take my family to some island somewhere and, say to hell with it. People won't support their causes, so, why should I support them? That's just the way it is. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you right now that if you want to make donations to keep the hour of the time on the air, we will accept donations, but we're not going to ask for them. Okay? We're going to present you with good products every week, every night, during some portion of the programming so that we can help you and you can help us. We are making these products at the rock bottom, lowest price that you can think of. And while we're going through this little commercial phase here, those of you who live in the Round Valley of Arizona listening to 101.1 FM, we've got to turn you off because 101.1 FM is a non-profit community service station. So we cannot broadcast these commercials on 101.1 FM. As soon as we finish with this portion of the broadcast in about 20 or 30 minutes, we will be back on the air. In the meantime, 101.1 FM is going off the air right this moment. We will be back on the air in about 15 or 20 minutes after we get through with this commercial portion of the programming. Boy, did you hear that? Now we're getting some kind of a thing back at us. That helped a little bit, but not much. What is it? What is it that's going on here? Turn off that. Yeah. No. There's a button on the other side of that. Turn it off. That's it. We did it. Okay. Now we know what we have to do to go off the air with 101.1 FM so that we don't get that horrible buzz. Okay, folks. Here's the new prices for tapes of Hour of the Time. Now we're on 3 hours now, not an hour anymore. It's 3 hours, so we have to change our prices. Starting tonight, the Hour of the Time will be a 3-hour broadcast, Monday through and including Thursday nights. And, of course, this results in each broadcast being a 2-tape set. They're 90-minute tapes, 2 tapes. And, therefore, the new prices for broadcast tapes are as follows. Now, write this down, because if you hear an episode of the Hour of the Time that you want to purchase, this is the price. Members. That means if you're a CAGI member or an Intelligence Service member, the price is $11 post-paid per broadcast. $11 post-paid per broadcast for members. Non-members. Non-members. Now, you know if you're a member or not, so don't call and ask if you're a member. If you got to call and ask if you're a member, you're not a member. Non-members. $13. That's $13 per broadcast, post-paid. Okay? These are 3 hours each, 2 90-minute tapes. If you live outside of the continental United States or outside the borders of the United States of America, it's $15 post-paid. $15 post-paid. Now, each broadcast is 3 hours long. You'll get 2 90-minute tapes for that money. They will be studio quality stereo tapes, not the monaural that you're hearing over the shortwave. We will only accept blank money orders, cash, gold, or silver coins, nothing else. Don't send us a check. We won't even waste the postage to send it back to you. If you send us a check, we'll just tear it up and throw it in the trash can. Nobody will cash it. And we will tear it up to the point where nobody could cash it if they wanted to. We will not accept checks under any circumstances. We will only accept blank money orders, which means if you write anything on that money order, we will not accept it. We will send back money orders. Okay? We'll just send it back to you so that you can go get your money back. We will not send back checks. Remember, we will accept blank money orders, cash, gold or silver coins only. Okay? That is the only way that you can do business with the Hour of the Time. And here's the address. Here's the address. Anytime you communicate with us or order anything from the Hour of the Time, send it to the Hour of the Time, in care of 101.1 FM. That's 101.1 FM. Post Office Box 940. That's P.O. Box 940, Eager, spelled E-A-G-A-R, Arizona. That's Eager, spelled E-A-G-A-R, Arizona, 85925. Once again, it's the Hour of the Time, in care of 101.1 FM, Post Office Box 940, Eager, spelled E-A-G-A-R, Arizona, 85925, USA. Go ahead. And we're back in business. Okay. Now, if you would like to have a packet of information, our current catalog of all of the things that we currently have for sale, send us $1 and a self-addressed stamped envelope with 50, wait a minute, what is the correct postage? It's 75 cents postage. Okay? Send us a self-addressed stamped envelope with 75 cents postage attached plus $1, and we'll send you our current catalog, including a current 1998 tape list of the available tapes of the Hour of the Time broadcast.
Number 10 size.
Yeah, number 10 size. Big, large envelope. That's the large envelope, okay? Number 10 size. If you don't know what that is, go down to your local envelope shop or the post office and ask them what a number 10 size is and buy it from them. Okay. Now, for those of you who do not know it, my book is now out on audio tape. It was published by Audio Literature on audio tape, and I spent 3 days in San Francisco recording the book. It's read by the author, me, William Cooper. Behold a Pale Horse is now out on audio books. In fact, you can buy it from Amazon on the internet. It's the alternative audio label of audio literature, and you can order it through any bookstore or anywhere. You can purchase it from us. If you'd like to purchase a copy of my book or an audio tape, and it's got 10 minutes of new material at the end, it's $19.95 postpaid. $19.95 postpaid. It's 3 hours of tapes. It is the abridged version of Behold a Pale Horse, and Behold a Pale Horse is still the #1 underground best-selling book, not just in this country, but all over the world. It is absolutely incredible. So, what else? Oh, Oklahoma City Day 1 right now is on sale for $16. $16. That's a normally $35 postpaid is now $16 postpaid. That's Oklahoma City Day 1 by Michelle Marie Moore. $16 postpaid. That's what it costs us to print the book, folks, plus the postage. We couldn't generate enough interest in this whole country to sell that book at what it should be sold for, so that we could make some money on it. So we're just trying to get our money back. So $16 postpaid for Oklahoma City Day 1. That's our cost of printing the book, plus the UPS and postage charges and the shipping and handling charges to get it to you. So we're taking a bath on that. All we're trying to do is get our money back. Veritas is back in publication. Veritas is back in publication, and here's the deal, folks. It's $30 for a 6-issue subscription. $30 for a 6-issue subscription. It's a full-size national newspaper. Or $55 for a 12-issue subscription. $55 for a 12-issue subscription. With the 12-issue subscription, at the $55 rate, you get a free copy of Oklahoma City Day 1. We're just giving it away. And folks, we did not make the charge for the paper $55 because we're giving away Oklahoma City Day 1 and there's padded in there. That was the price of the 12-issue subscription, and then we couldn't figure out what to do with Oklahoma City Day 1. We're taking a bath on it. To help out Veritas subscriptions for a limited time, you get a free copy, which is a $35 value of Oklahoma City Day 1 with the subscription, 12-issue subscription of Veritas at $55. Anybody who's ever read Veritas will tell you it is the #1 best newspaper in America, bar none. It is not a newsletter. It is not a tabloid. It is a full-size national newspaper. Okay? I hate it when people call and ask if they can get a subscription to our newsletter. I hate that. We don't have a newsletter. We have a newspaper, just like the New York Times, only better. It tells the truth. What else have we got here? Oh, the Branch Davidians' Last Will and Testament is what we call it. And this is the videotape that was made by the Branch Davidians in Mount Carmel while they were under siege. Most Americans do not even know that this tape exists. It's $35. It's $30 postpaid to anyone who lives in the United States. $35 foreign. All funds must be in U.S. funds. Okay? Remember, we will only accept blank money orders, cash, gold or silver coin. No checks under any circumstances whatsoever. Now we got some other stuff that's really neat. I'm going to let Doyel tell you all about this stuff because he knows about it. He knows about it better than me. And So he's going to tell you about these things. And we guarantee you, folks, the lowest prices anywhere on this stuff. So those of you who've been looking for this type of merchandise, we guarantee you that we will meet or beat any advertised price. By advertised price, it must be advertised on the radio, on television, or in print media somewhere. Okay? You can't just call us up and say, oh, Joe Blow will sell it to me for $14. No. You got to show us the ad that has the lower price, or send us a tape of the radio broadcast, the actual radio broadcast where the lower price was actually advertised. You see, we don't think there are any lower prices than what we're going to give you tonight on this stuff. In fact, some of the prices we have are so much lower than everybody else that it's going to absolutely amaze you. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Doyel. I'm going to head down the hall to the little boy's room and check on my family, and I will be back in a few moments. Mr. Shamlin.
Uh-oh. All right, tonight, some of the products we'd like to offer you are things which aren't necessarily products that a paranoid or a right-wing fanatic needs to stockpile. That's a joke. These are products that anybody can use on a day-to-day basis, especially on certain times of the year, i.e. bad weather, floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, and everything else like power outages that happen in certain areas of the country every year. First thing we'd like to start out with is the mainstay food ration. This stuff is good tasting, believe it or not. To me it is, at least. It's like a vanilla lemon cake taste. It's what it is it's an energy bar essentially. But what this is developed for long-term storage to handle in just a wide range of temperatures. Actually, the temperature range is negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So you can throw it in the trunk of your car and leave it. It's got a 5-year shelf life. Each little cube of it is 400 calories, and it's fully balanced as far as vitamins and minerals. It's some amazing stuff. It's really good to have on hand, just for emergencies, breakdowns on the side of the road, power outages, or if you're just going out hiking in the woods, it's good to have. I know a lot of hunters from where I'm from that carry this stuff religiously with them because it's a lot easier than making sandwiches, and they spoil and get hot, and they have something to eat and snack on all day. It's good stuff. We're selling a case of 10 packets of it. Each packet is good for a whole day of food. So this is 10 days worth, a case of 10 packets for $43.50 plus shipping. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the mainstay water packets. Essentially on the same line, approved by the U.S. Coast Guard, the Defense Personnel Support Center, U.S. Army, relief efforts, emergency evacuation teams, and rescue teams all over America. This stuff is amazing. Essentially all it is a pouch, like the little juice drinks in the store, a foil pouch, but it's sterile water that's then hermetically sealed to avoid any contamination. It's got a 5-year shelf life again. This stuff is good stuff to have. What's nice about this, a lot of people like to keep some bottled water, jugs of water in their closet or pantry or in their car. Thing is that bottles get propagated by germs. It happens. The average bottled shelf life, not counting sun breakdown from UV rays, is only 6 months before algae and staphylococcus and diplococcus and everything else grows in them. So this is good stuff to have. We're selling a case of 60 packets. That's 60 servings. You need 2 of these a day if you really have to stretch it out. 2 of these a day will be fine. If breakdown on the side of the road, you can't beat them. Or for hiking, traveling, they're great, especially if you travel over borders into foreign countries where their sanitation may be questionable. These are great to have. A case of 60 packets for $19.95 plus postage. We will tell you how to call for details. And we have the Wallace Guidebook.
Wait a minute. I thought Diplococcus was a dinosaur.
Well, that's his uncle.
I just want to tell everybody out there, especially Alan Weiner if you're listening, I just went out to check the shortwave signal. We're in the White Mountains of Arizona, which is almost, but not quite, as far away from you can get from Maine as you can get on this continent. And this station, WBCQ, is just booming in here. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is really booming, and I'm very happy with the signal.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right. Okay, the next item is called the Wallace Guidebook. Remember this, the Wallace Guidebook. What this is essentially a first aid manual that covers a lot more stuff than the typical first aid manual you might pick up at some, I don't know, mass market store. What this one covers is, this will get you through almost any emergency you might run into. It'll cover anything from minor scratches and cuts that people incur, clear through childbirth. It is an amazing book. This book can really save the day. If you have children, you live far away, or you are far away from home when a disaster or accident happens, such as hiking, or if you're in one of those areas of the country that get hit every year with hurricanes and floods and whatnot, and then you're on your own at that point because generally the power structure goes down and phone lines and power are out for who knows how many days. This Wallace Guidebook is $5.49. That is it, $5.49 plus postage. The next item is called the First Aid and Travel Kit. This kit is essentially a first aid kit with some extra drinking water and emergency things like the gloves. It's packaged in a really good container that can take abuse as far as like car trunks, glove boxes, throw it in the closet, wherever. This is a really good deal to have around. It'll take care of most small minor emergencies that may happen wherever you might be. This first aid and travel kit is $7.95 plus postage. The next thing we'd like to go into is this is a really nice deal right here. This thing's called the Traveler.
Wait a minute. Did you say $7.95?
Yeah, we're gonna.
Boy, you're not supposed to give it away.
Well,
$7.95.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you told me to set the price.
All right.
The next item. This is a nice deal. Actually, these at my old employment back home, my old home. These were actually given as our safety award bonuses. They're a nice deal. It's called the Traveler. What it is essentially is a water-resistant nylon case with a carry strap, and then just little supplies. That's why we got it for a safety award, incentive award for no accidents for a year. It's a good deal to have around. Everybody at work really enjoyed it. They make great gifts. It shows a lot of people, they gave these to their parents and people that they really cared about, because once we got them, then they knew how to get more of them. I won't say how they got more of them at work, but anyway, this kit, it comes with food rations, water, flashlight, first aid supplies, razor blades, wash-up pads, just a whole bunch of stuff that you can use. That's why it's called the Traveler. It's oriented towards people on the road, like in your car trunk, because it does come with things like duct tape and then space blanket, the first aid manual we mentioned above, tissue packets for blowing your nose or whatever else you might want to use them for.
Flashlight and batteries?
Yeah, flashlight and batteries. Adhesive bandages, alcohol wipes, aspirin, gauze pads, towelettes, razor blades.
Water?
Yeah, water rations,
right.
food rations.
I haven't seen a lot of this stuff, folks. Doyel, I signed Doyel to put together this stuff and price it, and I told him to make the prices lower than, and not just lower, but as low as we could possibly get it, lower than anybody else who ever offered any of this stuff. And I can see by the prices, he's done that.
Yeah.
Why have you done it?
Yeah, actually, we did compare prices with some other very large firms around the country that advertise heavily in magazines and on the air. And although they may offer a sale that might drop a few cents lower when they get an overrun, some of these prices are up to 30% lower than what they're advertising, okay? So heed this and watch out for products that aren't directly comparable. They may advertise a car kit that helps you with roadside emergencies and whatnot, but see what's in it. Really check, because I found one that's $1 cheaper, but it had no first aid supplies, no first aid book, a flashlight, no batteries, no duct tape. Duct tape is indispensable on the side of the road. All right.
Hold on. Hey, Bill, hold on just a minute. I think, wait a minute. Bill, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there, sir.
Uh-oh. Whoa. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, now, I'm sorry.
Okay, am I on now?
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there, sir.
Oh, you're on the air now.
Oh. Well, I just I want to say hi to Bill and hi to say hi to Doyel, and to Annie, and to Pooh, and to Dorothy.
No, Pooh is Dorothy. You mean Allison?
I'm sorry, I mean Allison.
Okay.
Oh boy, it's late, and I had a couple of rum and cokes, you know. But your signal is coming in like gangbusters here in Cleveland. It's real clear, and I just called up a local station, and they were talking about Clinton. You know, it was a local. I took a break from the hour of the time, and I called up a local talk show.
That's probably Alan Wiener.
And they were talking about Newt Gingrich's favorite author. Well, Newt Gingrich's favorite author was Alvin Toffler, who wrote the Third Wave. He wrote Future Shock, and he wrote a book called Creating a New Civilization, in which he and his wife Heidi, in both the Third Wave and Creating a New Civilization, called for a new constitution for this country. I just wondered if you have any thoughts on Mr. Toffler and his wife Heidi.
Those are my thoughts. My thoughts are for Mr. Toffler and his wife Heidi. If they want a new constitution, look around in the world and find the country that suits them and go there just as quickly and as fast and as comfortably as they can, or they can, work hard, get enough money, and buy an island and make their own country. Leave my constitution alone.
You betcha.
Alone. All you social engineer, puke-faced, scum-sucking pigs out there, leave my constitution alone. Because if you don't, someday you're going to have to fight me with real weapons and real bullets, because I have sworn to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that means Mr. Toffler and his social engineering wife, Heidi. And anybody else out there who wants to try and take it away. And I'm dead serious. I am dead serious.
There was a poster in all the taverns back in World War II. That was before my time, and I think before your time, too. But it said this: loose lips sink ships.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was thinking of Mr. Clinton in that regard. Well, anyway, you have a great show, guys. And you're coming around and clear.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Bye.
It also swallows cigars.
Yeah.
I didn't say. Did I say that? I didn't say that. No, not me. Okay, back to remember, folks, if you don't buy these products, we cannot be on the air for 3 hours a night, 4 nights a week. So if you want us to be on the air, if you want to help yourself, and that's why we offer these at the lowest prices, so that we can give you something that you'll be proud to have, and that you need, and that you can really, really use, and it will really help you, and you'll also be helping us pay for all this airtime. Back to Mr. Doyle.
Mr. Doyle. You gotta watch out for that guy. Okay, we got 2 more things here.
They think you're kidding.
Yeah, I know. This product is called the Ark 3. The Ark as in Noah's Ark 3. 1, 2, 3. This is a box set, essentially. And what this kit comes in a really nice, heavy cardboard box, full printing, so you know what's in the kit, what to use it for. It's shrink wrapped with plastic, and it's actually wrapped so well that this stuff will take a heavy rain and not a drop will get in. I have seen it, I have tried it, I abuse things. This has a 5-year shelf life. This is really neat. This is a really neat stuff for gifts. This was used as a giveaway back at my old employment, and they were actually quite popular because a lot of people gave them to their wives once they received them at work because it made them feel better. It's got food, a so-called thermal blanket, as more people know it, a space blanket, water in it. This is a really bare-bones package, but the thing about it is it'll get you through a minor problem, like a breakdown or anything like that, and you'll be just fine. It's sitting out on the side of the Mojave Desert or something in California, dehydrating and dying by the nighttime. The Ark 3, our price is $13.37. $13.37 plus postage. We will tell you at the end of this how to call and get details on the postage price. You'll have to give us about a day turnaround time once you inquire, okay? The last item is the Super Ark. This is the more advanced kit. This is a really nice kit. It would be comparable to the Traveler kit, but meant more for stationary operations because it does come in a box, not a nylon-type bag with shoulder strap. It's not meant to lug around all over the place. It comes with the ration food again, 5-year shelf life, high caloric intake, sterilized water, first aid kit, blankets, safety matches, a candle, hand warmer, light stick. This kit is a nice deal, and it can withstand the temperature ranges again, -40 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. It only weighs 5 pounds. It's a great deal. This Super Arc, we are selling it for $19.95 plus postage. Okay, and Bill will give you the details as far as where we want to write and how we're going to handle this. Okay?
What is this? This is one person, 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
This will take care of one person for 3 days. So you'd want to get one of these for each person in the family for an emergency where you might be without food, water, light, and warmth for 3 days. It'll feed one person for 3 days. Food, water, has light stick, hand warmer, first aid kit, a blanket, safety matches, and a candle. And this is top notch. I mean, this is top of the line stuff. This is stuff, ladies and gentlemen, that elsewhere they're charging you over $100 for. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Over $100. And I'm talking on shortwave radio. And we're selling it for what? What's our price?
$19.95.
Doyle, you did it again. I mean, if they're charging over $100, how come we're only charging $19.95? Well, I did. Are we making any money with that? Are we making a few bucks?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as we're making $2 or $3 or $4 or $5, that's all I care about. All I want to do, we don't want to kill anybody. All we want to do is pay for the airtime. So we need to sell a whole lot of these, folks. And I'm not kidding you. They really are selling these for over $100 on radio. Right here on shortwave. I've heard them advertised myself, and I know some of you have too. We're going to be offering you a lot of real good stuff. Recently, that was the night that Pete Morgan called and told us to listen to Art Bell. Mm-hmm. Remember?
Yeah.
And he was advertising a rechargeable 100,000 candle power handheld flashlight. Mm-hmm. 100,000 candle power rechargeable handheld light. Mm-hmm. $99.95. Mm-hmm. Folks, wait till you see what we can get you, with a lot more candle power. Wait till you hear the price we're going to be able to offer you. And we're not going to give it to you tonight. So, but what else do we have here? Anything else?
That was it for our list.
Okay, that's it. We got some wonderful stuff that we're looking into for our audience, for all of you. And everything, we will not offer you anything that's stupid or silly. We're going to offer you things that you would really like, and in many instances, wanted and could never get. Like all the time that I was growing up, I always wanted a Flash Gordon pocket knife. Some of my friends had them. Well, folks, we're getting a limited supply of Flash Gordon pocket knives. And the reason we're doing it is because I always wanted one, but we could only get, I think it was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Only 2 or 3. That's all we're going to have. And we're going to be able to offer you a genuine Flash Gordon, top quality, carbon steel blade pocket knife for a price that you're not going to believe. We're not going to offer it to you until we get them. But I hope you're writing down the products that we have and the prices that we're offering them to you for. Remember, we only accept blank money orders, cash, gold, or silver coin. That's it. Now, if you want to pay for it in gold or silver coin, please call us so we can decide upon a mutually accepted value for whatever coins you're going to send. We're quite liberal in that also, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I think you'll find that we're willing to give you a value that's much better than anybody else would give you. I don't know what I did with it. It's in there somewhere. So anyway, wait a minute. Maybe it's right here. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, Mr. Cooper. Nice to hear you on the radio again.
Hello.
This is Kevin in Nevada.
Hi, Kevin.
Yeah, well, been waiting to get you back on the short wave where I can hear you, and in the process of getting my micro FM back up on the air again and working on the antenna, and your signal's coming in really strong here in the Las Vegas area.
Good. You're going to rebroadcast this on your micro station?
You bet. So I'm working on the antenna right now, and next couple of days I'll get it up where I get it high enough where I'll actually cover a little bit of area.
Wonderful. Doesn't matter. If you only if you only cover half a block, it's more than anybody would have ever heard before.
Right.
And that's the important thing. You hear that, Alan Weiner? Alan Weiner, don't you sell us out. Don't you do what you did last week. You get on our side, Alan Weiner, and you help us out. Alan Weiner, you hear me, Alan Weiner?
When I heard that you were going to come on this new shortwave station, after I found out how good and strong the signal was, I got on a couple local talk shows here in the Vegas Valley. You know Lou Webden.
Yeah, I know. He's a good friend of mine, yeah.
And I've...
Very good friend of mine.
Right, I've spread the word out on his station a little bit, and I'll get in there and talk to him again tonight and tell him how good the signal's coming in, and because there's nothing to listen in the Las Vegas Valley from 6 to 9, and I'm trying to get everybody to listen to you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You know, we originally wanted to get airtime from, what was it, 1 to 4 a.m.? Eastern. We originally were trying to get airtime 1 to 4 a.m. Eastern because I really wanted to go head-to-head with Art Bell.
Oh, yeah.
I really wanted to do that. I wanted to do it so bad I could taste it in my sleep.
I live in Pahrump. This is Crazy Valley, so...
Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, this way we get all these audience.
Right. Well, good to have you back on the air, and I'm spreading the word as much as I can, but there's a lot of really dumb people out there.
Yeah, well, they're ignorant. Let's put it that way. Some of them are stupid, but most people are just ignorant, and all they need to do is hear the truth and go out and check it out and make sure that it is true. My admonition still goes, folks. Listen to everyone, read everything, believe absolutely nothing unless you can prove it in your own research. I've said that from the beginning. I still say it now, and if you don't do that, then in my estimation, you're a fool.
Yeah, and as an example, one person at work, she's a college student, and she's taking her political science class, and the instructor laid out the political parties or philosophies or something like that, and he put Nazi and fascism on the far right wing.
little does he know.
And
Hitler was a socialist. Nazi means National German Socialist Workers' Party.
Right.
Hitler socialized Germany.
With socialism, communism, the whole bit, and anarchy and libertarianism, the whole bit.
Oh my God!
I gave her the definitions out of a encyclopedia or a dictionary.
Yeah.
She believes me, but she's too scared to talk to the teacher.
Oh gee.
And well, I'll let you get on, and good show. Glad to have you back.
Well, thank you. Thank you for calling.
Bye.
Okay, we're not giving out the phone number, folks. These are just people who happen to know the phone number because we're really not taking calls tonight, or we weren't going to take calls tonight. But we've been taking calls from some people that we know that have called that are good people. And, this is our debut night. And so good friends want to call and wish us well. That's fine. But we prefer that nobody calls just tonight, and then, we'll open the phones on other nights for people to call. I'm trying to figure this out. That's number 3. That's that. And I'm going to get it all the way up here to 42. Okay. I'm just setting up the shuffle off the buffalo music because we're at 8:46, coming up at the top of the last. This is the last hour, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm amazed.
Yeah.
I like this 3-hour format because we can get out all the information we need to get out instead of being confined to 1 hour where you can't do anything else except pound out the information. We can get the information out. We can have fun.
We can breathe.
And we can breathe. And we can do other things. And we got time to advertise some things, that we needed to advertise. Here's the, by the way, let's go back on 101.1 FM. Okay? I'm turning on the transmitter now. I'm turning on the, compressor limit. Turn it on. Okay, we are now back on the air on 101.1 FM. Okay, for those of you who want to order any of the products that we just gave you, remember, we only accept blank money orders, cash, gold or silver coin. And send it to Hour of the Time in care of 101.1 FM. Post Office Box 940. That's P.O. Box 940. Eager, spelled E-A-G-A-R. That's Eager, spelled E-A-G-A-R. Arizona 85925, USA. Okay, now we got all of that done. We're back on 101.1 FM. And for those of you listening on 101.1 FM who waited patiently for us to come back on the air, sorry we have to do that, but 101.1 FM is a non-profit community service station. There are never any commercials on 101.1 FM. There will never be any commercials on 101.1 FM, and you all know that. And so that's why. I'm going to try to hook some other thing through another mixing board so that we don't have to go off the air. We can go back to our normal programming while we're doing the commercials on the hour of the time. So, gosh, are we out of steam?
I was just waking up.
I bet you are. Just waking up. Yeah, it is getting late, and my legs are killing me. I got to tell you that. I mean, they are killing me. You see, folks, I can't speak. You know, when I go somewhere to deliver a lecture or speak, I can't do it sitting down. I can't even do it sitting on a stool, and I can't do a radio broadcast sitting down. I don't know how anybody does it. I've got to stand up, and if I don't stand up, I cannot be effective. I cannot deliver whatever it is I'm saying in the proper manner. At least I feel like I can't. And I can't move around, and I can't wave my arms and all that kind of stuff. And I have to do that. That's Doyel. I probably look like an orchestra conductor.
He tried to hit me a couple times
while I'm talking here. What else do we need to do?
We gave out the address.
We did all of that.
Yeah.
Let me think. Forgot to. I know what I forgot to do. Here's what I forgot to do.
Personal conversation with her about my sore throat and what she thought would be good for it or something like that. I have some vague memory of that. That's it.
Just the chicken soup conversation?
Well, I want to know about her sore throat. What are you doing about her sore throat?
Maybe that's what she said I should have. I don't remember. But I have no recollection, sir, of asking her to come to my room. I'm sorry, I don't.
I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot
I
pole.
won't deny calling her. I don't know if I did call her. I don't know if she tried to call me first. I don't know anything about that. I met her and Doug Wilder. I remember that she and her husband were active for Governor Wilder, and that's about all I remember, except that I had a conversation with her around the Richmond debate. I do remember talking to her there.
Mr. President, let's move ahead to the episode on November 29, 1993, in which Mrs. Willie met you in your office at the Oval. The subject matter of the 60-minute broadcast a few months ago. You recall that episode?
I certainly do.
Mr. President, in fact, on that day, you did make sexual advances on Kathleen Willie. Is that not correct?
That's false.
You did grab her breast, as she said.
I did not.
You did place your hand on her groin area, as she said.
No, I didn't.
And you placed her hand on your genitals, did you not?
Mr. Bennett, I didn't do any of that. And the questions you're asking, I think, betray the bias of this operation that has troubled me for a long time. You know what evidence was released after the 60-minute broadcast that I think pretty well shattered Kathleen Willie's credibility.
I love that. I really do. Folks, you know what? I just realized that I don't remember if I ever gave out this Ramsey phone number where you can get a free catalog. And remember, we don't work for Ramsey. We're not getting anything from Ramsey. This is just where you write to call to get a free catalog if you want one. And the number is 1-800-446-2295. That's 1-800-446-2295. One more time. 1-800-446-2295. We're not selling anything from Ramsey. We're not getting any money from Ramsey. That's just where you can get a free catalog, so call them and get it. Now, I hope, folks, that you will all call every talk show and everybody that you know and tell them that I'm back. And it's on WBCQ, the planet on High Street. And don't tell me they're 16 stories off the ground, because I'm going to tell you it's at least 220 stories off the ground on High Street. And tell them it's a new 3-hour format, Monday through Thursday night. It's a clear channel signal everywhere. And I got to tell you, we're getting it better here in Arizona than any other station on shortwave, except for, what's that, Catholic, WEWN?
Yes, I believe so, the Catholic. Only Saturdays, though.
Yeah. It's a great signal. It's a great station. We're having a lot of fun. Everybody else has a lot of fun. And I think it's going to make its mark. I really do. So call everybody. Let everybody know. Oh, here they are. Come on, girls. Come, you want to say goodbye? You want to go say goodbye, because we're going to sign off. Say bye.
Bye.
Move.
Bye.
All right.
Say good night, Doyle.
Good night.
Good night.
All right.
Whoops. What did I do? Oh, I did it. Okay, here we go.
I'm going to say good night too.
Good night.
You're my love, you're my angel, you're the girl of my dreams. I'd like to find you away patiently. Daddy's home, Daddy's home to stay. Now I've waited for this moment that you be by your side. Your best friend Rose told me that you had teardrops in your eyes. Daddy's home, Daddy's home to stay. It wasn't on a Sunday, Monday and Tuesday went by. It wasn't on a Tuesday afternoon. All I could do was cry, but I made a promise that you I made it back home to you. I've waited for this moment to keep on side. Your best friend Rose told me that you had teardrops in your eyes. Daddy's home, Daddy's home to stay.